Welcome back, one and all. It's another Racing Post Live, the last Saturday of January. Happy days, they are here as we move into February. No Cheltenham Trials Day. That's the big news to give you. If you've been hiding under a rock or behind your sofa, you can come out though, because we've got a great card at Doncaster. We kick off in the 140 now it is at Doncaster. Shishkin, just a small matter of him coming back out in the Lightning Novice Chase. And then, of course, with big feature handicap, we have got the Sky Bet Chase, of course, at what was 3:15. I think it's 3:20 now. So the thing to say about race times, if you don't know, apart from the first, which is 10 minutes late, at Donny, they've added another 5 minutes on. Why? Because we'll be going to Surrey now and Lingfield as well for 3 on the Poly track. Happy days indeed. January is nearly over and we're going to have a right old time of it here this afternoon. Don't forget to, of course, like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook Live as well. Get your social media comments in. You know the drill, most of you by now, but if you are new, we will give you a shout out. Great to have you along. If you're looking at Twitter or want to say anything there, of course, it's hashtag RP Live. Myself, Dave Orton, delighted to be joined by the two T's, Tony Ennis and Tom Collins, back in the studio. That sounds like a dreadful Motown tribute band or something, doesn't it? The two T's.
I know.
Karaoke
Tom,
fan?
he's dressed for the tribute band, isn't he, with the shirt.
First of all, he's on time today.
Oh, that's the first, to be fair.
He hasn't got a pass to get in the office, but he's on time. And we honestly, we had a bit of banter. You're dressed like a waiter, so you're obviously a little bit redundant there. But the two T's, are we on good form?
Yeah, doing all right at the moment, ticking over nicely. I was at Lingfield yesterday. Nice to get out on track, get a bit of fresh air.
You've been doing a lot of that. I mean, you've been one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, I realise how lucky I am still to go racing. I mean, so many people can't get to the tracks these days, which is unfortunate. But it's all about the television coverage.
Are you a fan of Lingfield? You don't have to be diplomatic with that. You can. A lot of people don't like it.
I like it. It's not the easiest track to call at especially when they fly down the outside.
There's a camber on the home straight, isn't it? You can't challenge wide enough in the home straight. That's what I keep saying. You've said that you've walked the track many times. I have
walked the track, yeah.
I will believe you on that.
It does camber in, you're right.
It does camber in. We were talking about that. That's why you can't usually challenge on the inside.
When it's wet like today, when they've had heavy rain this morning, I lived down the road and it was absolutely pelting
this morning. It tightens it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it means that you can ride a different race there. We've seen that, I think, in the first couple of races.
Couple of races, you've wanted to be on the pace at Surrey and Lingfield. TC, on form, 10-point Thomas, we call you. Confidence oozing out from you today?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been great for the last few days, especially on the US stuff. Hopefully it carries over for the jumps race and the flat racing today in the UK before I produce 3 US tips to end the show.
Beautiful. We'll look forward to that. And, of course, it's another Saturday and it's another stint for Barry Orr. Great to have you back on, Barry.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are we all?
Happy day. Yeah, we're good. Listen, we're coming out of January, Barry, aren't we? It can only improve, this guy. the outside world.
The January blues will be in the rear view mirror, thankfully, in a couple of days. And yeah, spring is in the air from February 1 officially. So a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, it's one of those Saturdays, isn't it, Barry? I guess if you didn't hear the news that Cheltenham was off yesterday, and you're waking up on a Saturday, some will be disheartened. But here's a stellar card up at Doncaster. How's the liquidity been thus far?
Yeah, it's been really strong. Obviously, the sprinkle of stardust is Siskin, the Arkle favoured, and really looking forward to see him in just a couple of minutes' time. But it's quality racing. There's a really good novice hurl there as well, the Albert Bartlett novices, and then the Sky Bet Chase, which will have implications for the big staying chases into the spring and onto April and the Grand National. So disappointing that Cheltenham's off, but really top quality card in Doncaster to look at.
Should we have a quick look at the market for the Sky Bet Chase? 320 now it will be, of course. All about Cap d'Honneur, wasn't it, Barry? I imagine on the sportsbook at the start of the week. But there's been some horses moving all over the place in this market.
Yeah, Cap d'Honor's been a bit of a negative. It was as short as 5-2 on the exchange. It's out to 9-2 now. Musical Slave has been the strong one for JP McManus, was around a 9-1 mark, is into 11-2 now. Canonello is the other JP owned runner in the race, is a bit of a negative. Boldmere has been backed at really decent prices as well, Dave. We've seen he's been backed at a high of around 19-1. Boldmere, so he's one coming in for a good support. He's into 8-1 now. So yeah, really lively betting heat. But Cap d'Honneur just a little uneasy at the head of the market. I hear a few people questioning the form of the stable. I didn't have that query myself, but yeah, it could be a bit of concern there.
Christian Williams, that's interesting, isn't it? Of course, the ground is something of an unknown for him as well, but could just be very well handicapped still. We'll be getting into that nearer the time. Barry, you're going to be showcasing the exchange as ever, and our charity, a final charity, it's been January and the Christmas period all throughout for the Borough 7.
Yeah, I think we're winning the guts of £1,000 so far this month for the Borough 7, and we'll go again this time. I'm just trying to showcase the exchange and its functionality, what you can do. I'm not suggesting anybody follow me or have a bet in the races that I'm having a bet in. It really is just to showcase the exchange and show the different options to an ordinary fixed odds bookmaker, the difference that an exchange brings, and all the different options that you have.
Yeah, you're never too far away, Baron. I know a lot of people do like to follow you. So we'll be going to Barry first before each and every race, and then we'll be going down the panel to see what they like. So great to have you along board. 7 races coming your way here this afternoon on RP Live before we move into February. What is it? 6 weeks away now, Cheltenham, isn't it?
Amazing, isn't it? Cheltenham won't have raced since that 2-day December meeting before the festival this year. We lost New Year's Day, waterlogged. Today, waterlogged. I think it's a while, isn't it, since they've lost both of the meetings.
Have you ever done voiceovers before? You could say waterlogged, couldn't you? Well, if you want a voiceover king, that would be very good. Can you say that again for us?
Today, waterlogged. New Year's Day.
Waterlogged. I can't even say it myself that well. But it is remarkable that the last 2 meetings they have had to abandon.
Yep.
Now, I don't know, is there anything in this? Let us know. I mean, they turn the taps on in the summer or something. It never used to happen, did it? Of course, that December meeting is often up in the air. I think twice in the last 15 years they've had to abandon only the New Year's Day meeting, TC. What's going on?
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a shambles, really, and a bit of a shame as well, because we all want to see trials day, don't we? It gives us an extra pointer towards the festival in March.
We think that the Cotswold Chase and, of course, the Cleve, Paisley Park coming back out. They want to get a run into him pre-Cheltenham again, Emma Lavelle. Really happy with the places in. Will it go to Sandown next Saturday?
I mean, it should just go to Cheltenham. Why can't they just reschedule it at Cheltenham in a few days' time when it's raceable?
I guess the implications of that ends are probably terrestrial TV coverage, sponsorship as well. I suppose, you know, if we're lumping up for one of these races, you want the best coverage you could possibly get, I guess.
But I think you could easily have Sandown and Cheltenham, couldn't you, on next Saturday? It's doable, I think, but obviously I don't think it's going to happen now.
Well, Sandown could be well boosted on this show next Saturday. Let's have a look at the social media comment coming up on the screen. Adam Beagley joins us. Great to have you on. Dave, can I get a festival nap from you? From everyone. Let's go down the panel. If you say Shishkin, this will be the last appearance you're going to have on this show, Ends. Do you know what? St Calvados, I think we've had a touch. He was going to run in the Cotswold Chase. Harry Whittington, if you're listening out there, a plea to you, man. Do not go Gold Cup. You're not going to win it. Tom Segal, of course, usually right about these things price-wise. He's put him up at 50s or something crazy for the Gold Cup. I would really strongly fancy him if he gets there in one piece for the Ryanair. Like him a lot. And you know what? If you want the next best thing, hang on, Dave, what you on about? He's probably now going to go the Gold Cup route, which the Cotswold Chase would suggest they're strongly thinking about. And the more I look at Appreciate it, you know.
I love Appreciate it because
it's such a
and look at the second favourite's Metier. I just don't rate that form, as you know, from the Tolworth. So if Metier's 7-1, I can't have that.
You called that garbage, didn't you? That form.
I mean, didn't Tile Tap approve it though?
Yeah.
Has he finished that race last week?
The third has since been gone. Okay, so Appreciate it. Next best, St Calvados. Getting on running, no bet out there, can't you, Adam? For you, Ends Nap.
Royal Pagal for the Gold Cup, 11-1 is huge.
You've been wanting to talk about this.
I've got till
since
£1:30.
How long? Yeah, come on, this has got to be succinct. But you actually I don't need to show the WhatsApp message you've been sending about this horse, but they're bullish, aren't they?
Yeah, I think talk of going to the National Hunt Chase is nonsense. I mean, look who owns the horse. There's only one race that Rich Ritchie wants to win at Cheltenham. That's the Gold Cup.
Yeah, it looks very strongly like he's going to go to the Gold Cup now.
Single figure odds now in most places, to 11-1, I think, in a place.
You think there's a bit of juice in that, do you?
I think he should be second favourite. I think he'll win.
Should we say what you actually said?
Side.
What was your line? This won't come off the bridle in the
Correct.
Gold Cup.
He said Tom Scoos there, 3 out this.
He was messaging me last Saturday when we were covering that in the Peter Marsh Chase, and my phone was buzzing. I could sort of hear it. It's this pest. He was telling me to get on this for the Gold Cup. What if it's dry, I said to you, at Cheltenham?
That's the one worry.
You said it won't be. You didn't even answer.
I've looked at the 28-day weather forecast, and there's more rain forecast mid-February, end of February. I'm confident it'll be soft ground. I can't see anything getting off the
Royal Pagal in the Gold Cup.
Correct, 11-1.
Fair play. There you go, Adam. A treble, Tom.
The Boston Oscar wins of attempts.
You've been banging that drum for a
Yep.
little while, haven't you?
I mean-
Still around about 8s, is it, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm on at 25s and 20s as well. He was great value. Gordon Elliott's just laid him out for the race. He's well handicapped. 2 brilliant prep runs at Navan and Leopardstown, finishing second both times.
Keeping it easy, TC, aren't you? Just a 30 runner per attempt.
Yeah, but look, Gordon Elliott knows how to win this race. He's done it with Cider Bello last 2 years. This horse finished 5th in the Martin Pipe last year when getting the worst
Got the
run
form.
through. Got the form, well handicapped, going to have the best jockey. Trained by the best trainer, in my opinion, for handicaps at Cheltenham. The boss's Oscar wins the attempt.
Happy days. Barry Orr, give us a winner at Cheltenham.
Yeah, I suppose it's non-runner, no bet is the caveat, and a pricey one, probably Bear Grylls into Ballymore. I really like him because the ones at the head of the market at the moment, because it's non-runner, no bet, I don't think any of them are going to run into Ballymore. And I think by natural selection, I've come to him. He's a horse I really like. If he's in any of the big yards, he'd be half the price he is. He's currently a 14 to 1 chance. One more on the shorter side, I think Monkfish will win the what's called now the Festival Novices Chase, what was the RSA. We're going to have to get used to that name change. That's going to take a while. But Monkfish there at around the 5 to 2 mark, if you fancy, is my short price fancy. But Bear Grylls, I've been really impressed with him. And the Ballymore 14 to 1, I think, is knockout value.
He would have won today, Barry, I think, wouldn't he, if it had it been on at Cheltenham. Yeah, Nicky Martin got a live one there. So, Adam, great social media comment to start. Thank you very much. Let's hope that's answered it for you. Keep them coming in thick and fast. We've got the Lee brothers in the gallery today. Both Millwall fans. So around about 3 o'clock, thankfully the moans and groans will nearly be off by then. It will be fine. You know, my team played Millwall. I'm a Watford supporter. And I'll tell you what, if Roderick Duncan was a clerk of the course at Millwall, he would have a torrid time. Of course, the clerk of the course at Doncaster, that pitch is the worst I've ever seen. It should have been called off like Cheltenham.
Yeah.
But, you know, needs
what they're calling it, Dom,
it's
it's soft, isn't it, officially at Doncaster? I mean, they had a meeting yesterday, obviously.
6.2, 6.3 the going stick yesterday, 6.6, 6.9. So the higher the going stick gets, the more towards firm we go. You were at Chepstow not that long ago, and it was 3.
I'm the record holder for commentating on the softest ground ever in this country meeting.
I bet you've got a certificate on your wall with that as well.
You've got your race cards here, haven't you?
I've got the actual
maps
race cards
as well.
and
We've got the
now,
maps.
I don't know if you saw the last show when these two were in, but N sketched on his racing post some maps. So he got it all wrong. It was the Taunton day. Do you remember? It was someone like that when he got it all wrong.
It was the Irish meet.
Tremor, wasn't it?
It was Tremor,
wasn't it?
It was Tremor, of course. Yeah,
down the back, and it
that's right.
knocked me out.
But this time, is this your excuse to get out of homeschooling? If you get it wrong today, man.
Well, I should.
No
I commentate at Doncaster. I'm there at the next meeting actually on the 11th, so I should get Doncaster right.
Fair track, Doncaster. Let's talk about this. Galloping track, they sort of get racing, don't they, into the home straight. Long home straight as well.
Go too soon, though, I think.
Yeah.
I think quite often the trap is to go too soon.
Although in the first race we saw something, tear off, didn't we? And only 3 claimed clear. So while it is drying ground, first thing to say is it's pretty bad. It's not soft enough for Cheddleton, who's out in the first race. Unbelievable. I thought he was the bet in the without market. I know you did too, Barry. So let's go now to our first race. How far are we away? Oh, yeah, around about 10 minutes. Perfect timing.
Yeah, Sheskin at the moment is 1.15. He's just on the slide a little because there was £2 matched him at 1 to 9, which is 1.11, and there was over £100,000 matched on him at 1 to 8. So it's fair to say he's on a little bit of a slide, 2 to 13 now at the moment. I was the same as you, Dave. I was going to back Cheddleton in the without market. Obviously, he's a non-runner now. I thought the only danger to him in the without market was the Paul Nicholls horse Fast Book. So he's going to be my bet here, Enzo, just to kick off proceedings. He's 2.52 or 2.62 in the without market. Fast Book. Obviously, he's a horse in Hereford last day. He came down in front of the second last at Hereford, and then he was chinned on the line by East Lilac at Donny. Was giving him lumps of weight that day, as Paul says in his blog on Betfair. So 50 quid on him at around the 13 to 8 mark, I think represents a bit of value against Eldorado Allen, who's stable, definitely not in form, and I think worth opposing until they hit a bit of form.
Oh, thanks, Barry. Okay, so switching to Fast Buck, who you remember used to be with Willie Mullins. I had a bit of time for him with Willie Mullins as a novice hurdler, and I probably would be with Barry there. 2 things to mention, guys. Eldorado Allen, of course. If you take out that Grade 1, I think we call it a flop, can we?
Yeah.
Last time at Sandown. Of course, he got lucky when Gumball came down. Do you remember that? Absolute scenes at Cheltenham at the November meeting. But there's still some more juice in him to come, I think. But the stable form, There's a big article you've seen that Lee Motter said concentrated, it reared its head again. Do you believe in stable form or not? I think that whatever you think about that, stable goes on runs and more to the point, poor form seems to be a little bit more important than hot form, doesn't it?
They had lots of seconds and thirds. They had a horse ran well on Boxing Day at Kempton that was second. They had lots.
Fiddler on the Roof ran well at Warwick despite bleeding.
The last few though, they've had a few pulled up.
It's been a torrid season for them. We know they had all sorts of issues last year. Of course, they had the death of the.
I think that was just so sad, and that's I think it's
in
hard
the family
to
as well,
back
which was awful. So look, we desperately want to see them bounce back. Big Breakaway ran all right, didn't he? Considering he took nearly every fence with him in the Quarto Star Novice Chase. They're desperate for not just that Saturday winner, but for the 2020 and 21 winner as well. But it's really hard, Tom, isn't it, to give anything confidence to them? And of course, he's got the £5 penalty along with Shishk.
Yeah, well, Colin Tizard's 0 for 45, and his last winner, I think, was Oscar Elite back in the first week of December. So I do pay a lot of notice to poor stable form. Maybe not good stable form, but poor stable form. And I just can't bring myself to back any Tizard horse, especially in a race like this. Looking at the market, you'd think he's the clear without favourite bet in this race, but you don't know if the horses are going to run up to the level that they're capable of. And even then, Eldorado Allen's not really fulfilled the potential that we thought he had in the first season under rules. So with Cheldleton out of this race, it's very much a watching brief.
Yeah, we don't have to play in every race. That's, of course, the safe gambling MO here. Barry, as mentioned at the top of the show, showcasing the exchange, and we're having some fun as well. So if you did want to play in the without market, I guess, fast buck, I could see that as well. I think that's got to be the switch.
What price is Estilic in the without? Is he big?
9.6.
Was that just a complete fluke last time? Why is he, why is he as big as he is?
He's won his last two, isn't he? I mean,
beating Fast Buck.
There's no certainty that Eldorado Allen's going to get round or Fast Buck, is there? So, I mean, at 10 to 1 in a 3-runner race, it's almost tempting.
No holes in Shishkin.
No, I don't think so.
One on heavy ground, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Was he going to run to 160 to win this?
Do you know he got 170 when winning the Wayward Lad at Kempton on the 27th of Kempton?
He could probably run £8 below form on Wednesday.
The Royal Pagile Day, as you obviously
I think he probably only needs to run to 148, 150 to win
only
this. 2
horses since 2000 have hit 170 on their second start in a Novice Chase. Can you guess the other one?
Sprinter Sacra?
No.
Altior?
No.
Quarto Star?
No.
Denman?
No.
Who trained it?
Like
Nichols.
Magnus. No.
Trained by Nichols?
Who trained it? Willie Mullins.
Forteur?
Close.
Duvan?
Yeah.
Yes. Only Duvan has hit 170. Not even Envoy Allen did that. So the other superstar that we have got, I've been crunching the numbers on them, and it is very interesting. One thing we can say is they are both special horses. Let's talk about the Arkle then, Barry, because a lot of people will be sitting back watching this, not having a bet in the race, but they'll be sitting on anti-post dockets. He's around about 5 to 6 best. What's he on the sports book at the minute?
8 to 11. He's the shortest priced anti-post favourite at the moment for the Cheltenham Festival, just ahead, it needs to be said, of the Marsh Chase favourite, Envoy Allen, who's 4 to 5. So they've been very popular already in doubles at all sorts of prices since we've gone non-runner, no bet as well. And I expect that to continue really at around those odds.
It's remarkable, isn't it, how at this stage, guys, the handicap betting seems to be the really juicy. Now, a lot of people will say, well, it's always the way, Dave. You get 10 to 1 the field in the handicaps. But in these novice races, we are starting now to see, the usual ones. There are some very, very rock-solid looking short.
The three of them are all solid, aren't they? Shishkin, Envoy and Monkfish, I think.
Yeah.
Monkfish, because of the lack of British RSA hopefuls at this stage. Shamblu might go to the Marsh and have a crack at Envoy. We don't know if he goes to the meeting at all. He's just got to beat Latest Exhibition again. I say just got to do it. I love Latest Exhibition, who finished second to him, of course, at Leopardstown at Christmas. But what price is he going to go if he does what we think here, Barry, is I guess my point.
It'd be hard to cut him off the back of an impressive win here, wouldn't it? At 6s on or 7s on.
It would be hard, but it happens a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah. Hard, not impossible.
Yeah, indeed. Got it in there. Yeah, okay. So, 8 to 11 is sort of the general price. Barry, if the race cuts up on the day, we're not looking at a 1 to 8 shot. But, I think Simon, Sig, Sprinter, they all went off much shorter, didn't they?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if there's more than 8 runners in the Arkle come March. I really would. There's so many in there. The one that you do know is going to take him on is Yugamen of Willie Mullins's. That was impressive in Nace last day, but he's not going to get his way up front because you've All Mankind in there as well. But outside of that, there's not a whole lot in the race really. And I'm not sure there's going to be that many runners. So if you fancied one at a big price at the moment, non-runner, no bet, I wouldn't put anyone off having a bet each way in it where it's 3 places at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ugamain, the unpronounceable.
I've heard about 14 different.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. Yeah,
and
he has been well tipped up on ETC, but Paul Keeley says he's got a tendency to go out slightly to his right. Is he a 2 mile 4? I don't know, it's tricky.
He's just not as a complete horse as Shishkin, is he? I know Shishkin's only run, is it 7 times or 6 times under rules? He's very lightly raced, but he just looks so professional, and it's hard to take him on, even though Energamine has been impressive in Ireland this year. But as Barry said, with All Mankind in there, he's not going to get his own way out in front, and he has done in both races in Ireland.
What about tactics for this race? Easterlich might give him a bit to think about. Can he give him something to think about?
I don't think so. He'll probably go off in front, won't he? The outside, the rag of the field. But that will suit Nicola Boinville on Shishkin. So.
There's a bit of a misnomer with this race and I must admit I fell into the trap again yesterday.
I'm still falling into explain. Sprinter Sacra
Everyone thinks that Sprinter Sacra won this race.
And it's not true.
It's not. He won on his chasing debut there, the one time that Dave Bass
rode him.
Dave Bass made reference to that in his Sunday report after, of course, he won on first flow in the Clarence House. He didn't. And you were like, he ran in this race. I know he did. He was jocked up in it along with Menora, and it was going to be the clash between Menora and Sprinter Sacra. And because of the ground, I can't remember what it was, Nicki thought otherwise. So he was in it, and then... when
was that, 2013?
It might have been 2013. I'll try and look back to actually what won it that year. Let's have a look.
Was it ran in 2013?
It was good point. It wasn't. It was abandoned. It would have been It was at a Valdez year, I think, 2014 or something like that. But my point is, when Sprinter Sacra won on his chasing debut, he beat a horse called Lightning Rod. So everyone has got the correlation that it must be this race. There is a lightning correlation there. But anyway, so look, he didn't win this race, but he was going to go and take in this race. And I think did he take in the Game Spirit in the end? Or so, was that Simon? It was so ridiculous,
house, didn't he?
He was brilliant, but not even Sprinter Sacra hit the magic Racing Post rating of 170 on his
1.17 is tempting, isn't it? Drifting out a bit.
You think this is buying money? Are you a money buyer?
I think sometimes you have to be. I think this is a money buying, isn't it?
I don't
2
know.
to 11 after being 1 to 9 and 100 grand at 1 to 8. If you're one of the people who's backed at 1 to 8 for, you're scratching your head now, aren't you? Although 2 to 11 is
a lot of people would have
really
just
working man's prices.
Would have tagged this onto a double, wouldn't they, Barry, to get it up a little bit,
Couple of tricky fences down the side. The open ditch, fence 7, not easy for novices.
5 out's a bit tricky, isn't it?
Because
that's when
yes.
That's the 8th. Are you sure your map tells you it's
on
the
an
8th?
angle like that fence, and can catch a few out.
Let's hope you see something special. What you get here on Racing Post Live, of course, is the reaction through the races. We know you like that, but also you get the immediate post-race analysis from the people that matter, and we'll try and tell you all about the targets. We can say what they can't necessarily elsewhere as well. So let's hope you're enjoying the ride. They're just about to jump actually off now for what is the 140. Despite on your screens, you will see the 130. 10 minutes late for the first at Doncaster. 5 minutes added on for all the other races as well. We come off air 3:30 at Lingfield. My best bet of the day is in the 3:30 at Lingfield. I'll tease you for that one. Let us know your naps of the day. Let us know your Cheltenham naps. Adam came on, didn't he? The first social media comment. We already got some naps straight out off the bat. Fantastic stuff. They're about to jump off then. Off to Tony Ennis to call the first of the day.
Off they go then for this Irish thoroughbred marketing Lightning Novices Steeplechase Grade 2 Class 1. They've got 12 fences to take. The only one they'll jump twice is this one, fence number 1, and it'll be the last as well. Shishkin jumps at the back of the 4. Est Illic is up there towards the inside, along with the grey Eldorado Allen, and then comes Fast Buck for Paul Nichols, who's close up in 3rd. The red-hot favourite, Shishkin, is settled at the back of the field in the Donnelly colours by Nico de Boinville. Only 1 defeat for him under rules. That came when he fell at Newbury over hurdles last December. Can he make it the perfect 3 out of 3 over fences? He's the early back mark, a little bit keen maybe, but they're making the turn now. Down this side, they've got the Old Water jump next, number 2, and they've got 4 fences down here. They've got the Old Water, as you can see, it's quite a small fence. Then they've got another plain one and an open ditch and another plain fence. Est Illic in front, looking for the hat-trick for Jordan Naylor. Eldorado Allen in second. Now John Joe O'Neill on board, of course. No Robbie Power these days riding for this stable. Towards the outside, Shishkin. He's giving him plenty of daylight, isn't he, I think? He doesn't want to get in behind any horses so far.
This is just a case of get there in one piece. He fiddled that
one,
bit,
isn't he? Yeah.
Was that the tricky one on your map?
No, that wasn't one of the trickier ones, which is a bit concerning. The open ditch could be tricky. They're coming towards that now. Here it is.
Jumps a little bit left, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
Shishkin?
bumped into Fast Buck, I think, there, didn't he, over that one? One more plain one down the back is fence 5. Eldorado Allen, can he come back to form? He's out in front by a neck now. Est Illick on the inside is really determined to try and get to the front, isn't he? Shishkin is racing in third, and Fast Buck for Harry Cobden is at the back of the 4. Not too many change, I don't think, in the in-running market so far. Shishkin on the outside.
The favourite's
Barry,
4 is on.
has he drifted, Barry?
Yeah, he's 4 is on. Yeah, he went off 6 to 1 on. He has been as short as 9 to 1 on, but he's 4 is on now. Yep.
Another advert, isn't it, for in-running playing? Of course, if they just fiddle one, and then they're trying to get him at it a little bit, I guess. TC, aren't they?
Yeah, they're trying to just get him out of his comfort zone. I'm slightly worried that he jumps a little bit left-handed at this stage. Maybe if he comes under pressure, he probably won't in this race. But if he does, it'd be interesting to see how violently left he jumps at Cheltenham.
Altior Mark II.
Yeah, it's a slight concern.
Yeah, well, of course, if you're going to jump one way out, you want to be going left-handed, really.
Yep.
Okay, Barry, as you can see, just slightly ahead of us. Where are we going with this? Oh, yeah.
We've lost Fast Buck.
Buck's gone. Fast Buck has gone. That's
bad fall as well, Harry
Is
Cobden.
that the second time he's fallen, isn't it? So it's F2F for him, back over
Course
hurdles,
is okay, I
maybe.
think.
But Eldorado Allen looks like he's going to be the only obstacle then for Shishkin. There is that tricky fence.
That's the tricky one, and it nearly caught out Est Illick, who was tiring at the time. So Eldorado Allen's in front. He's going to set the target for Shishkin in second place. Est Illick, I'm afraid, he's just lacking the class in these. This fence takes a bit of jumping too on the side. Coming towards it, Eldorado Allen, the grey, leading. Shishkin is close though, isn't he? 2 lengths away in second. Est Illick has gone to pieces his jumping. He's back in third, the only one left on its feet. Making the turn then into the home straight. They've got 4 plain fences left to jump. Eldorado Allen, but he's got a serious rival to his outside because Shishkin is moving with menace for Nico de Boinville. He's right alongside now. 4 out. Shishkin, I think, to land in front. Nice. He is. Eldorado went in through the top, and that might be game over, TC.
Yeah, that was a great jump there. As soon as the pace quickened, Shishkin really found his stride, and he leaped over that fence like
this
he wasn't
is a horse
there.
that unquestionably likes to get on with things, isn't it? I think we
Yep.
can say that.
Yep.
Since he's let him out that rain.
3 out and ping.
Yeah, he's much better at jumping now that they're going
Bullseye
quicker.
stuff, isn't it?
He doesn't jump as well when he's under restraint, does he?
Yeah,
But when he's allowed to stride on,
shaking him up 2 outs.
Yeah, I think he wants to teach him something here, doesn't he? This is going to be his last run before the festival. Wants to teach him, get him racing. 2 out. Shishkin.
Lovely again.
Good again there. Eldorado LN just reaching for it in seconds, about 8 lengths behind. They race towards the final fence. He's just got to get over this. This is the 12th. It was their first to win the Lightning Novices Chase. And Shishkin
all good.
is over safely. No problems at all. He got the 4 on.
The people who backed the over 11 lengths winning margin are currently sweating.
I don't know. It's
Well,
very
he's
tight. He's easing it down,
push him.
Nico.
Bruce Millington loves a good old long distance. He's probably watching out there. Yeah, so look, that was as we expected. He crosses the line, pretty much hard held. Is what we were expecting from a 1-8 shot. Those people that took Eldorado Allen in the without Barry in Clover. It was a 2-horse race from 6 out.
Yeah, it was after the other horse, Fast Buck, had fallen. The winner matched at a high of 1.3, so 3 to 1 on for around 300 quid, and then all the way down to 101. Obviously, he was 33 to 1 on and 50 to 1 on jumping the last. So he was around the 4 to 1 on mark with 4 to jump in the home straight. But once he motored by Eldorado Allen, it was all over, wasn't it? He's done what you'd expect him to do, and he's unchanged at 8 to 11 for the Arkle.
Thank you, Barry. Oh, there we go then. Shishkin, what did you make of that? I guess exactly what you were hoping for. Was it a case of the moment that he pushed those reins? Come on then, off you go, old son. He jumped absolutely perfectly. There was the odd. I mean, when you got a horse that's like this, you expect perfection, don't you?
He jumped left, didn't he, one of the fences. He was a bit iffy at one of them as well, wasn't he? I think the fence after the water, a little bit sticky out down
Just
the side.
his third start, of course, isn't it? So now straight to the festival. Nicki Henderson can sit back and enjoy a sherry.
Definitely. I mean, he looks a good thing, doesn't he, on the back of this and on the back of all the other performances we've seen. He's got course form at Cheltenham as well. And as they quicken there, he looks so much better, and they'll be going to championship pace at Cheltenham, and that's going to suit him based on that evidence. He'll be jumping perfectly, you'd hope. Favourite backers are probably being Clover
Do you
again in
appreciate it?
March.
Shishkin doubles, I think, with gathering momentum, weren't they, on day one?
Yes, very much so. Epatante.
Epatante for treble. Maybe.
She looks solid, I think. At the
Do you know what she does, TC? Because it's a slightly underwhelming cast that are coming up to give her some trouble. I'm on the Concertista bandwagon for that. I hope she goes there. Paul Keegan wasn't so sure about that.
I'm on Saldier as well, but I mean the favourite just looks the clear standout, and we're on 25 to 1 shots in the hope that we can pick up a place.
But is beatable as we,
Yeah, she's definitely beatable, but just hard to take on at this stage, I think.
Who's the best out of Shishkin and Envoy Allen?
I reckon
It's difficult
Shishkin.
to tell, isn't it, in violin?
Figures
Because
say Shishkin at the minute.
Yeah.
we were let down, weren't we, by Asteria Forlonge, who was meant to be giving me a race that day, and obviously that kind of didn't happen after that horse
Yeah.
bowed out early.
I just think
£5 difference.
The sad thing
between
is,
them
we'll
at the
never know, will we?
Yeah.
Well,
What
probably,
about
Never
next
know.
year?
Like Envoy Allen's a Gold Cup horse.
probably not
All
Barry,
the way, and
unfortunately.
Shishkin's never going to be a Gold Cup horse, is he? He's always going to be a 2-mile chaser, so they'll never step him up and trip. It's not Nicki Henderson's MO, really, is it?
No, and with Altior coming to the end of his Sterling career, it's probably he needs the
It's
championship.
amazing how Nicki Henderson has his replacements, isn't he? It's amazing how he had Sprinter Sacra. Altior stepped into his shoes. Now he's got this horse waiting to take over from Altior.
Yeah.
It's like a treadmill of top-class 2-mile chasers. Extraordinary.
If we-
3 horses of that amount of ability, one after the other.
Yeah.
If we hadn't got the Marsh, they might have met in an Arkle. Who knows?
Absolutely, it's the dream, isn't it, that they will meet one day, maybe over the 2 mile 4. Of course, Shishkin did graduate from the point-to-point sphere, but while they're cooking at 2 miles, Nicki keeps them there, and rightly so. It is the division that is electric and excites us all. So Shishkin, he's done what we expected him to. He's lit up. You see your Racing Post headlines today on the front page. Great front page. Lit up a gloomy day. Fantastic. Great to have Shishkin kick off the show. Eldorado Allen has run well, hasn't he? Very well. He's at least run up to his mark, I think.
Yeah, suggesting the stable might be ready to turn a corner, hopefully soon. I mean, I'm desperate for them to get back to winning ways, the Tizzards. But yeah, he jumped all right, didn't he, Eldorado Allen? I think he's probably run to his mark, hasn't he, in second?
Yeah.
Would you go Grand Annual with him? Got the
I
Cheltenham
don't-
tick, albeit slightly
I'd be going for a
fortunate.
handicap, wouldn't you?
149. I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to have horses, above him in that, isn't he? I think.
I
I
just
think he'd
don't
have
think
a
he's,
chance in that, wouldn't he?
I just don't think he's good enough in general for any Cheltenham race. Like I feel like he's a horse that doesn't finish off his races well enough. And there he's probably run to his mark, yeah. But the horse he's beaten, the only horse he's beaten, Estilix rated 129, and clearly went a bit too fast for his own good. Shishkin's basically toyed with him. I wouldn't be looking at Eldorado Allen thinking, yeah, he finished second to Shishkin, now I want to back him at Cheltenham. He ran okay,
Yeah.
but that's what was expected.
Okay, move on we shall. Thanks TC for that. So here we are on Racing Post Live, the final Saturday the 30th of January. No Cheltenham, but Doncaster lighting up the programme. Lingfield will be with them at 2:23 races on the sand. So flat fans, you get your chance to shine as well. Keep those social media comments coming in. Absolutely love them. We'll do our best to answer any questions. It's getting to that point now, chaps, isn't it? We've got the 2:05, or now the 2:10 at Doncaster. So around about 20 minutes for that coming up. Good time to chat and digress, I guess. How's the Cheltenham portfolio looking, in? Is it something that you do that, or are you one of these, get to the Tuesday, now we'll tackle it?
Yeah, I'm not a massive anti-post fan these days. to be
Why?
honest.
Because of the perils of it. You
Perils,
are
so many horses get ruled out.
the pocket-talking pundit, I called you just before we came on, didn't I?
Yeah,
You've been stung, anti-post-wise.
a few years ago. Yeah, I think
We don't need to get a black couch out, but you can tell us your tales of woe if you like.
No, it was just a couple of horses going back a few years that didn't go for the races I thought they were going to go for.
That's
Kind of-
annoying.
yeah, and it's
That's
just
half the game, isn't it?
yeah, and it's left its mark a bit from that from then on really. But I just don't touch anti-post, to be honest. Really interesting though this how Cap du Nord gets on today, obviously for the
In the
Royal
Sky
Gamble,
Bet.
because also Christian Williams. Has anybody ever trained and ridden the winner of this race before?
No, this is something that he's bidding to become the first to
Big
do.
Fella Thanks, wasn't it? 20. Remember Big Fella Thanks?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
2009?
In the Harry Finley
Yeah.
colours. Yeah, he's great.
So it could be a
awesome.
hell of a. But he's not had a winner, has he, for a while? Christian Williams either. I
No,
think
Barry was mentioning the
the
stable
horse
form.
that fell at Fakenham won at Catterick, I think, end of December. I can't remember the name, it begins with a B.
It was gambled on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had another horse around second at Fakenham the other day, didn't he? Joey Steele.
I wouldn't worry too much about that.
He doesn't have that many horses, does he, to be fair?
Not really. I wouldn't worry about it too much. More the ground for me today with Captain Orr. However, when we were all looking, the 48-hour decks that we've thankfully still got with the jump season, that's one thing that COVID pandemic has given us, isn't it? You're looking at a 5-2 shot. No one can tip him at that because he's not sure to go on the ground. He's beaten Canelo, obviously, when they first met at Newbury. The form is rock solid. He was
Peter
the only
O'Sullivan
thing that
chase,
got
yeah.
near Raw Pagai, again on ground that might not have been totally
I thought he
ideal
had
for
him
Kempton.
almost coming to the straight at Kempton. He was going as well, wasn't
Christian really fancied him for that race
Yeah.
at Kempton.
But how good does that run? I mean, with hindsight, it looks like a brilliant run, doesn't it?
It does. I said to Paul Keeley yesterday, he's obviously hot like Enzo on Raw Pagai for the Gold Cup. I said, obviously you'd be hoping for Captain Orr to come out and win. He said, well, I'm not really that bothered because Raw Pagai's already shrugged off that weight differential. However, you can't tell me that if Captain Orr comes and wins
10,
this,
you'd be
or
delighted.
wins as he likes, the one horse that's going to be on everyone's lips, rather than Captain Orr bless him, will be Royal Pagaille, of course.
Yeah, it will. That'll be a huge. He'll come in, I think, when he.
Go on, Barry.
It looks like they bumped into Christian Williams and Captain Nor bumped into the best handicapped horse in England last day. What was it? 15, 18 lengths back to the third.
Yeah, double shuffle.
Double shuffle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
well.
yeah.
She had him in this, the Sky Bet Royal Pagaille. He was in it. He
just in case Haydock was off. I mean, imagine if they'd have met again, Christian would have been kicking the cut, wouldn't he? But, you know.
He's a huge hype horse, though, isn't he? Like, do you think a bit of his price contraction is down to all of the hype in the media?
Royal Pagaille.
Yeah, Royal Pagaille. I don't think he's the
Ross
value
Briley was in your chair last Saturday on the show. He said the most impressive chasing performance of the current season.
Was very impressive. Was very impressive.
Is there a touch of surname about him? Is there?
You can go through the ranks, TC. Oh, look.
But the ratings boards all tell me he's got to find £10 to even compete in the Gold Cup.
Exactly. Like, he's
But
visually.
the ratings boards, I mean, I'm more interested in what I saw.
The ratings boards.
They do go on about the ratings, and I just think, but...
And okay, let's do this. Your ability to keep things simple. We said this just before we were coming in when we were warming up a little bit as well. It astounds me. It's like an actor, I said, who maybe does acting in their youth, and then they go back. And every time they go back into a theatre, they can see the mechanics of everything. They think about what's happening backstage. When you've been in racing for so long, you look at everything, don't you? You lose that ability to just keep things simple. Not Enzo. He has held on to this, and everything is simple. But I have to say, I'm a little bit jealous of that.
I just think I watched the race again, the Haydock race. Never touched a twig. Never came off the bridle at any stage.
It's the way he went.
It's the way he goes to the race. It's the way he jumps.
Yeah.
The way he travels. People say, he's got to find £11. It's like.
And Venetia's comments afterwards to Lewis Porteous at Ascot, which made the paper the next day, basically said, I was hoping he would win like that. That's what got Keels really excited yesterday.
But the horses he beat wouldn't ever come near a Gold Cup. Like,
But
not even
that's
near
what his
them.
fault, isn't it? He couldn't do any more.
They're about to
No, but-
retire.
Yeah, exactly.
They're veterans.
Like he was
pour some cold water on him.
He basically just had to work. That's all he did. He had to work around Haydock, and look, his rating, what is it, 162 or 163, something like that. He's got plenty of pounds to find. RPRs he achieved 171, I think, or something, something similar to that. He's got weight to find on like Albion Photo.
Do you know who he could be? Could be Jackadam, couldn't he? The same colours, who won the Thyestes, as a 5-year-old or whatever, under a massive weight, tore up the form book, and what you had to do to win a Thyestes chase, which we had, of course, on Thursday. Cocoa Beach won really well there, didn't he? A horse that couldn't hold a candle to Envoy Ellen.
Would it be crazy, wouldn't it, if Rich Ritchie's tried to win a Gold Cup with Willie Mullins all these years? If he beats Willie Mullins or
takes one to Venetia.
Yeah.
She can do it, Venetia, as well. She absolutely can. She's got a proper horse there.
I mean, she thinks he's as good as Teton Mill, who was the last Gold Cup class horse she had. Won a King George by about 100 yards many years ago.
Is that your favourite horse of all time?
No,
because you do drop it in almost every
Teton Mill.
conversation we have.
He had a hit the Desert Orchid about him. Obviously, not quite as good as the Great Horse. But
Teton Mill. If you don't know that, it's probably like
watch it on YouTube.
Like TC was like, "Well, I've heard of it." I said, "We've heard of Shakespeare, TC." We need to look these things up. Let's get a social media comment coming back on the screen. Who have we got? Gordon Mathers. Great to have you on, Gordon.
Correct.
Royal Pagaille. Absolutely
Gordon
nothing.
knows. Gordon knows.
Gordon
What can
knows.
he do? It's not his fault, is it?
No.
Beat Tree Samson Vaitch's second favourite came down, of course. Okay, we've got another one coming in. Dan the man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good to have you back on, Dan. If there was a match race tomorrow, Alboom Photo versus Royal Pagaille, who would the guys be siding with?
Royal Pagaille wouldn't come off the bridle.
It's no-brainer. Alboom for Dan.
It depends on the ground, doesn't
Dan knows.
Alboom Photo just about won that race at Tremor. He was like off the bridle, wasn't he, halfway?
Basically,
I don't think he was very
the viewing
impressed with that
public
either,
think
but-
you're absolutely mad. I mean, what price will he go if it's a wet Cheltenham? Let's just say that.
He's got to be second favourite.
Gold Cups can be wet days now, can't they? You sort of get used to that now. There's been some right slogfests.
Yeah, I think he'll go off about 6-1. I think he'll go off.
6
How
to
can
1.
you put him shorter than Aplutard and Manella
He has to be
Indo,
short
though?
than Aplutard.
Yeah,
You
but
beat
how?
Aplutard without coming off the bridle. How does Aplutard even lay a glove on him? I don't
Well,
understand.
listen, we're going to find out more
You're
about the
mad.
Gold Cup division next weekend. Barry, you must be excited about this. We'll be covering both days here on RP Live. Dublin Festival coming up. Manella Indo, favourite at the minute, isn't he? To see off Aplutard, his stablemate.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's just to put that blip last day behind him. But yeah, just fantastic 2 days racing at the Dublin Racing Festival. And we get to see appreciated as well, hopefully. So, and a lot of other stellar stars that will be heading to Cheltenham. It just fits in perfectly for all the top trainers over here and their top talent that's going to go to Cheltenham. It's a lovely break between the Dublin Racing Festival and then the Cotswolds in March. So, yeah, a lot to look forward to those 2 days, Dave. Really looking forward to them.
Yeah, you'll be best placed to tell us this, but they have had problems with small fields, of course, Barry. It's been, they've had to water, haven't they? What's been the weather run up to this year's festival?
Yeah, the last couple of years they've had issues with the ground, Dave. It's just it dries out so well, Leopardstown, that it was a case at one stage last year where they did have to throw a bit of water on. I know Gordon Elliott wasn't overly happy with the state of it going last year, and he said that in his piece on Betfair. But this time around, we've had no end of rain the last couple of weeks over here, so hopefully it won't be an issue. And I think the forecast is be unsettled during the week as well. So, yeah, I don't think Leopardstown are going to have to water this time around.
For once, we welcome it, don't we? Let the rain clouds open then over Dublin. Cannot wait for that next Saturday, and we might have a rearranged Cleve Hurdle and a Cotswold Chase to bring you as well. Shishkin versus Bristol Demai round 2 could still be on. Fantastic stuff. Keep your socials coming in. We will give you a shout out there. So hope you're enjoying this. Listen, light on the horizon everywhere we look at the minute, isn't it? The summer seems a wee way off yet, guys, doesn't it? But
we're nearly through the worst month of the year.
We're going the right way, aren't we? Has this been the worst January ever?
I think it's been horrendous, obviously, with all the COVID deaths, obviously absolutely horrible. We've had all sorts of problems with, obviously, education's a massive problem at the moment. I've got 4
You
children.
hate homeschooling, don't you?
Homeschooling.
You've got a tribe of children, haven't you?
I just think it's such a key. My oldest is 14, James. It's such a key time for him. It's a key time for all of them. Sam's just started reception.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall in your
It's difficult for them.
Yeah,
They've
it
lost.
is. It is.
Got children yourself.
I've got a rising 6-year-old. Yeah, and
it's tough, isn't it? They're just
thankfully
not
the
getting that
nurseries
interaction.
are-
So I think it
It
has
has
been
been
the worst
tough.
January
It
ever.
has been tough, and no Cheltenham to end January.
No
but
Trials Day is obviously the worst part of the.
we thoroughly enjoyed it, but I think we can quite confidently say, now that we're here, this weekend really kicks off until the lull before Cheltenham. Some really fantastic stuff. Obviously, Dublin next week, got Sandown as mentioned. Then we've got the Betfair Handicap, haven't we? That's a great meeting. Game Spirit, of course, as well. Altior looks like he's on course for that again. Cannot wait. February is a really good month, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great month. I think January is definitely the worst month of the year for racing, for everything at the moment this year. But for racing, yeah, it's a quiet spell where you need to regather your composure and build yourself up, build your resume for Cheltenham, and even the classics on the flat, which I've been doing. So, you've got to just look at the long distance.
You had to slip it in.
Bit of long distance study. Just
Aidan
warming
O'Brien,
up.
of course, in the week said that he's going to base his staff over here.
Yeah.
So a lot of people
great
are a
news.
little bit disappointed about that because they think, how long is this going to drag on for? But look, we're going in the right way. We're trending in the right way. That's all we need to know. Cheltenham, 6 weeks away. Cannot wait. Let's hope we get some owners back on the track for that.
Definitely.
That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, we had that little spate, didn't we? We had a few meetings. I remember I called at Lingfield. There was a few people there. It was coming back, and then obviously December went horribly downhill, didn't it? And now we're where we are again, unfortunately.
It did. But listen, it's a shot
At least
in the arm.
racing's on, which is.
Absolutely. And hopefully we are lifting your spirits out there as well. It's great to be here with you. We've got the second race from Doncaster coming up. Now the 210, still 205 on all your race cars, but it's a tricky Grade 2 for mares. Let's go to Barry or have a look at the market because there's been a 3-way battle for favouritism all week.
Yeah, not really, Dave. Floressa was clear favourite when we first went up with this market. Was a 13-8 chance, 15-8 yesterday, but out to 3.6 now. Floressa. Obviously, you've Miranda in there, who always seems to run a race. She's 3.6. And Mary's Rock, Floressa's stable companion, is 3.65. Yes, so it's a 3-way go now at the head of the market. But Floressa had been favourite. Obviously, they're both, herself and Maria's Rock are Nicki Henderson trained, and Nico de Boinville would have had the choice. And I think he thought he picked the right one here. But the market's suggesting now that maybe Mary's Rock is the right one with James Bone. Anything that could go wrong for her in her first run back after her break went wrong for her in Newbury. She pulled like an absolute train. She got hampered or made a mistake at the third last, got hampered at the second last. And, I'd be willing to forgive her that run. She was off the back of a wind operation as well. Now, she's obviously had a few issues, but she's got a big chance. Miranda, like I say, who was on top of them fourth last day, but really did finish on top of them up in Scotland. And I think Floressa is readily opposable here. I'm glad to see a few quid coming for her because she was 3.7. She's in 3.45 now. Enzo, I think she's going to go shorter because momentum seems to be with her in the market. So I'm going to look to layer at 3.40. So I'm going to be a price maker here, Enzo. And we're going to look to take 50 quid of the backer stake out of her.
50?
So 50 quid. 3.40. We're not going to keep bet here because I don't want it to go and play. I think we'll be matched beforehand, and if we're not, that's the kind of perimeter I've set myself here. Happy to layer 3.40. I don't want to have to chase her price out. I don't want to have to layer in running. So we'll just review that before the bet goes, or before the race goes in play.
Thank you, Barry. You'll remember, of course, this was a really messy race last year. Watch it back in your replays and your members section. You can do that on the Racing Post website before we go off because they're in the paddock at the moment. It was a really, really messy finish. Irish Road came out of on top of Floressa and Lady Buttons, who got awarded the race. And it's hard to I forgot that it was Floressa in this race. The guess the question mark with her is the ground, isn't it? It was a big ask, wasn't it, over Christmas? She's only run on it once, this sort of ground, and she didn't cover herself in glory. But, I don't know, it's an interesting one. Nico de Boinville obviously feels that she's the best because Nico has ridden Marie's Rock in all of her 4 starts to date, TC. And the headgear and the tongue tie goes on the hood. Whoa, that makes her look a bit of a drifter,
exactly.
doesn't it?
I just think Floressa's probably the most likely of the 2 Henderson horses to run her race. And Nico de Boinville's chosen her on that basis. Yes, there is big ground question mark. She's only run on soft once. That was at Cheltenham. She finished 9th behind Concertista. This is obviously a much easier race than that, but this ground is probably a lot tackier than it was at Cheltenham that day. On ratings, she's one of the horses to beat. Her and Miranda, the standouts on looking at the lightly raced and profile of Marie's Rock tends to sway the punter in her direction. But as you say, with the hood and the tongue tie combination first time, and the fact she only had wind surgery before her last run when she ran poorly, the fact they're already jumping back to a tongue tie suggests there's
She doesn't settle, does
issues
she,
there.
early on? She's a bit headstrong.
Yeah,
Marie's Rock.
you can't back her with any confidence because she's so quirky and never run. She's not an easy ride, and that just puts punters off.
She could do what that Flinter Sacra did yesterday when we just pulled his chance away.
The novice race. Oh,
yeah.
What a hound that looks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Not good.
Hound of the Baskervilles there, yeah, absolutely. But, of course, Nicki Henderson and the team on a high after Shishkin. We're hearing, actually, I'm hearing that the time for Shishkin, despite the ground was rather decent. I'm going to wait for absolute confirmation of that. But
would that suggest, Dave, that the ground's not really that bad?
Well, Cheddleton came out, Barry, didn't he? Because he's a proper mud lover of the Lightning, and on the chase course, it's always slightly quicker than it is on the hurdles course. So if you're on one in the Sky Bet Chase that doesn't want it hock deep, maybe Rocky's Treasure, someone like that, Musical Slave potentially as well, the gamble of the race, I wouldn't be too worried about it at all. We'll get that official time in as soon as it comes up, but a few people just checking that at the minute. Okay, Barry is hoping Floressa will atone for a luckless run in this last year. Tom Collins, you think that Floressa is most likely, but we think Irish Rose overpriced, don't we, the pair of us?
Yeah, I mean, Floressa's the obvious one, but I want to take her on with the ground issues. Marie's Rock, I want to take her on with her problems. Miranda, just not a horse that I really like. So the two that stood out at the prices definitely were Rainer's World and Irish Row. I wouldn't put anyone off just backing both of them to small stakes. I think they've got a good chance, but even though they're obviously £10 or more below the top 3 in the market on ratings.
I can't understand why Irish Row is as big as she is. I know she's a 10-year-old now. She's never been out of the frame.
Placed in the race the last 3 years as well.
Exactly. Behind Lady Buttons, who's not in it.
They target this race, don't they? They definitely target
exactly, TC. She's definitely been trained for this race. She gets £4 and £2 respectively from Floressa and Marie's Rock, who aren't sure to like the ground. Miranda as well, the one time she ran it, she totally flopped. That was the 8 in her form figure. Rainer's World is of some interest because despite being the lowly rated in there, of course we've got Sopat, who is the outsider that, although coming into this in top form, has a lot to find for Phil Middleton and Keenan Woods. Rainer's World is interesting because it hasn't quite delivered yet on the promise of that third at Cheltenham in the Mares Novice.
4s on it.
She did, and a lot of people do not like that when a horse gets touched off at horrible odds, do they? You won't like that. That's your punting MO.
I think she's got a chance though, Rain, as well. I just got such doubts about the top 3.
Well, Phil Kirby is 3 from 3 in the race, thanks to Lady Buttons.
I can see your angle back in Irish Row and Rain as well, definitely. I've got massive doubts about Miranda, that muscle reform. I just don't know what to make of that.
Well, Floressa leads. She liked her in the Jerry Fielden, of course, when she beat Marie.
She'd probably go off in front, wouldn't she? But was she a bit fortunate that day? Remember, there was a fall, I wasn't there, but about second last.
It was a stop-start pace she set as well.
Got everything her own way.
And that's why Marie's got lit up, I think, didn't she? The jockey bookings in this, as Barry mentioned, real head scratcher because I really thought that Nico would have been happy to give Marie's Rock a chance, and she won on pretty bad ground last year.
If she settles, she's going to have a chance at Marie's Rock.
It's just one of these head scratches, isn't it? Perhaps it's an in-running race, I'm not sure. But tactics-wise, Floressa, I'd be surprised if she wasn't the hare to catch. Maybe Sopat in there might give her something to think of early. Rain as well, we know, likes to be held on to. Irish Road definitely likes to come late in the piece. Marie's Rock, you have to think with the hood on that they're going to desperately try and settle her as well. You like Miranda?
I did. I'm still worried about the muscle reform. Wasn't a great run last time out. But I mean, of the top three, I preferred her to the Henderson duo. I've just got such doubts about Marie's Rock and Floressa that I didn't fancy either of those that strongly. I know Nicki Henderson just had a winner, but I mean, Shishkin, you can almost say that was almost a gimme, wasn't it? I think Miranda's got a chance. I'd forgive her that Musselbury run. She won well enough at Ludlow. Paul Nicholls normally he doesn't have that many runners at Doncaster, but he normally seems to find the right horses to take up there. So I'd go with her fractionally over. But I'm interested in these other two. Rain as World, certainly. I think at what price is Rain as World? 9 to 1 or something?
15 to 2 now.
Yeah. So has been backed actually, Barry, hasn't it? Rain as World looks like it's coming in a little bit in the market, but as you can see, that three-way go for favouritism still on, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. Miranda probably the weakest of the three at the top of the market now. There has been money for Rainer's World, who was matched at around a 14 to 1 chance, and all the way down to its current price of 8 to 1. But Mary's Rock and Floressa just almost inseparable at the head of the market. Miranda just a little bit weaker. I'd be surprised if the winner didn't come from the top three in the bet, and that's my own personal opinion. I can't have anything else in the race. Where's the pace going to come from? Probably Kieran Wood's horse. He likes to get out in front, Sopat. And maybe if Mary's Rock doesn't settle, I wonder, would the plan be with James Bones just to send him on? And I don't really have any concerns about the tongue tie and the hoods with Nicki Henderson putting them on. I think could be a real positive for the horse, if anything.
Name the best horse to have ever sported a hood. That's something that just came to my mind. I don't like backing horses in hoods. It's something I just don't. It suggests that they're expending their energy too much, and I know it around about 3 or 4 years ago, it became a trend, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's the softest type of headgear, and obviously helps them concentrate and pacifies them.
There were a fair few pundits, weren't there? James Willoughby was an advocate for first-time hoods.
First-time hoods, and maybe I think first time is definitely the time if you're going to put them on. But I don't know when you get up the grades.
Tiger Roll, does that wear a hood?
Is he hooded? Ooh,
potentially.
Let's crunch the numbers. That would be a humongous shout if he did.
It's a hell of a shout, isn't it? I think.
Hell of a shout.
I think he did, didn't he? I think he wore some sort of headgear when he won one of the cross-country races. Definitely.
I'll tell you what. I'm on the case. Getting any vibes out of Gordon's at the minute.
Blinkers.
I'm almost sure Tiger Roll. I think that was
Blinkers. It looks like
blinkers. We've been told.
Blinkers, yeah.
Blinkers, yeah. I mean, again, you could be disparaging about different types of headgear, can't you? But personally, for me, a hood is the worst. I don't like backing horses in hoods. If I ever get a tip on a hooded runner, I'm like, a hooded claw I'd rather back than this.
I don't think punters can afford to have those kind of preconceptions without actually fact backing them up.
Yes, I've kind of gone for a Graham Rodway sort of theory. Hoods never win, but it was a trend. But I don't know. Personally, it's something. Maybe it's a memory of backing them. It doesn't often come off for me. I don't know.
It's a bit of a weird one, like because I consider first-time blinkers a huge positive, no matter what the horse. Yet when I see first-time hood, I don't have the same urge to check the form and go more in depth.
They're tricky characters.
They're normally hard pullers, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Buzzy types.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you don't put one on one that doesn't want to go by. Or something. That's blinkers.
If you're watching a race and you're 100 yards in, right, and your horse is tugging for its head, you immediately put off and think, this can't.
You have to get out, don't you? There's nothing worse than being too keen in a race.
How many times when a hood's fitted, do you reckon a horse just stops pulling in the first 100 yards? I don't think it makes that much of a difference.
Flag up. We're about to find out with Marie's Rock. Enzo, you can tell us because she has been anchored out the back, and I can see that head is pulling all over the place.
Yeah, here's the first. Sopat's gone to the front. Floressa's going to sit second. I think Floressa went off favourite in the end. 2 miles and 158 yards. Don't forget extra yardage now. With the rails slightly moved. They're taking 8 flights in total. This is the Irish Thoroughbred Marketing Yorkshire Rose Mares Hurdles, a Class 1 Grade 2 event. And the leader is Sopat, who's gone clear for Keelan Woods. Floressa's going to sit in second place. And in third is Miranda, just ahead of Irish Row on the inside, who's got previous in this race. A couple of lengths then to find towards the back. Marie's Rock, who is a little bit fresh as she normally is in the early part of the race. And Rainer's World is dropped in right towards the back for Phil Kirby, who's won this race before. Ross Chapman is on board that one. So they're down the side of the track now. 3 flights await them down here. They are numbers 2, 3 and 4 of the 8 all told. And Sopat's gone on now by a few lengths, the outside of the field, to Flores. Has got a nice lead in second place. Miranda in third. Marie's Rock is just tracking Miranda to the inside Irish Row, and difference of opinion because the rider on Rain as well is sticking quite far towards the outside rail over that hurdle there, Dave.
Just Irish Row going on the inside, isn't it? Who's got 0 problems with the ground. So Will cutting the corner for Irish Row, disqualified in the race last year. Will she gain I mean, it was a really, really messy finish. Will they come stand side again? Will they dare to? I think they probably might, you know.
It's interesting because they've gone quite hard early. Keelan Woods is leaving no stone unturned on Sopat. He's really setting the...
How's that hood working out then, TC?
Well, there was no surprise to see a little bit of money for Marie's Rock in running into 3.8. Now drifted back out to 4.9. But this race is going to suit the horse that, one, likes a championship pace, a decent pace to run at, like so Floressa was in the perfect position, as he now just slows it up.
I'd say Rain as well.
And Rain as well,
yeah.
Exactly.
Having had her big day in the sun when placed, of course, behind Concertista.
She's a very good traveller as well, Rain as well.
Yeah, OK. So, look, we're lining up. We're just thinking about the home turn then at the moment. Sopat, the outsider of the lot, Barry. Has the market moved in any direction?
Yeah, just in the favour of Floressa, really, Dave, into 6-4 now. Ooh. But I think there's still plenty of them travelling well in themselves, except for Rainer's World. She's well off it now.
Oh, OK, yeah, so she does indeed. It's the moment you cursed her with
She does normally travel.
Marie's Rock must be a big price, Barry. She looks like she's gone to me.
Yeah, Marie's Rock looks a horrible
She's out to
ride,
11-2, yeah. She's still there. She still seems to be travelling well in herself, to my eye.
OK, fair enough. They're turning in then, Enzo.
Turning
Irish
in,
Row, come on then, my girl. Last year's disqualified winner. I'll tell you what, we're going to go close here.
3 left to jump. 6th flight is next. They've taken that flight on the side. The leader is still Sopat narrowly. Floressa every chance of a lovely run into the race. Marie's Rock is still in it, in behind them. It's just tracking Irish Row. Miranda's still in the mix every chance. Rainer's World not happy with her. She's ridden along quite vigorously and looks the first cooked. Sopat also looks beat. So I'd say it's the rest between the other 4. Floressa from Miranda, Irish Row, Marie's Rock, what's she going to have left for the finish, having pulled a bit early on? Floressa's going well in front, but Miranda, I don't think Cobden's pushed any buttons just yet.
Stand side, they are coming.
Yeah, the hurdles are right down on the near side rail today. Here comes Miranda now to challenge Floressa. I think it could be between these two. Yeah, Irish Rose back in third. Marie's Rock surely won't get home from there.
Ugh.
Over that one. So Floressa
Irish
against Miranda.
Road just jumped a flattened hurdle there. Come on, girl.
It's a straight fight between Henderson and Nichols, between De Boinville and Cobden. Miranda looks to be going quite well over that hurdle.
She's getting £4. They're identically rated. She's got to win, hasn't she?
Yeah, Miranda is travelling like a good one at this stage for Harry Cobden.
8-1 on Miranda.
Yeah, she's cruising now to the front from Floressa in second place. They're clear of Irish Row and Marie's Rock. So Miranda looks like she's got to get over this final hurdle to land this grade 2. She has done that. Floressa looks a bit tired now. Cobden shakes her up. And there's enough left in the tank, I think, to seal the deal here. Miranda is going to go on and win the Yorkshire Rose for Paul Nichols, the owners group, and Harry Cobden. Wins easily, Floressa in second.
Wow, OK, so that was pretty easy, wasn't it? If you stuck with Paul Nichols, Harry Cobden taking over. She handled the ground absolutely fine. Floressa giving her £4, probably ran to her mark, TC, beating her around about 4 lengths in the end. The 2 came well clear.
Yeah, the front 2 ran to their marks by the looks of it. Marie's Rock is a horse who just isn't worthy of support at the moment. She doesn't run her races properly. She's not efficient. So ignore her run, and the first 2 have run to form. Irish Rose also probably run to form. Back in third, she was rated inferior, far inferior to the 2
I was a
leaders.
little bit disappointed with her finishing effort, though.
Yeah, the top 2 seemed to quicken away, and she just couldn't live with them. Did she fend off Marie's Rock for third?
Let's have a look.
It was a close run.
Yeah, we're watching ahead on this long home straight. Of course, difficult for the
ground's looking a bit testing, isn't it?
Yeah, they're really cutting it up, especially around the bend.
I think it's softer than we've been led to believe.
It's definitely. Oh, well, look, it's not. They're not ploughing through it like they were yesterday. And on the chase course, we are hearing that it is. The time of Shishkin's race would suggest it is drying rapidly on the chase course.
Hurdle track is always a bit softer, isn't it? Up the near side rails.
Always. Is there a track in the country where the chase track is quicker than the hurdle? Leicester, I think it's the one, isn't it? Leicester's about the only one.
Abandoned again next week.
We can be firm and then heavy. It's madness, isn't it?
How many metres have they lost this year, Leicester?
But Miranda, look, expertly trained, as you would expect by the champion trainer. We didn't see that coming. It's a big step in the right direction from her. Although I guess if you're the handicapper, TC, It kind of runs their marks pretty much, haven't they? But she will obviously go up.
Yeah, still go up for the win. They definitely ran to their marks. I think Miranda probably had more left in the tank. She could have extended that winning margin. Cobden didn't even use the stick at all. So it was a good performance from the winner. But again, it just wasn't a race that really screams follow this form next time. You know, there wasn't that much strength and depth, especially with Marie's Rock and Irish Row. Irish Row didn't finish overly well. Marie's Rock didn't run her to the rating. So you take the top two out of the race, they ran well. Aside from that, not one for future, I don't think.
We move on. If you were with Miranda, happy days. But Lingfield, we've got to go to leafy Lingfield in Surrey now. I think we've had Lingfield on the show before. I don't think we have, actually. So another track debutante. Tricky downhill turn, and then the camber as well, the all-weather Epsom, if you like. And so far, from the races we've been seeing before we came on air, we've seen a couple in the corner of our eye as well. Being up on the pace is key. We've got a shorty in the 220, haven't we, Barry?
Yeah, we have. Power over me for Kieran O'Neill. It was one I was going to look to take on, 1.91, 3 for 3 since joining the yard from Johnny Murtagh's. It wasn't a horse to be trusted when it was with Johnny Murtagh over here. Traded at 44 in running when it won in Chelmsford off 59 on his first run in England. And won well on Sunday. Carries his penalty today. But I think there's an in-play angle here, Enzo. Van Dan. He's traded at 1 point. Yeah, he's traded at 1.674, 3.2, and 6 twice in his last 5 runs and getting chin. So I'm going to put into lay him in running. And how I'm going to do that is if we select the lay option for Van Dad. Yeah, and put it down to, I'd be happy to lay it at around the 2-1 mark. So if you just put in 2-1, 3.0, and we'll look to take 50 quid at a backer stake there, and we'll select the keep bet function. So what that means is when the bet goes in play, our bet will be there for people to see. If you don't select that function, it's taken down automatically as the race goes in play. So keep the bet function. Van Dad going to lay it at around the 2-1 mark. Hopefully,
it's got a good jockey though, Barry.
Here we go again. Had to get a
He's
mention of his friendship with David Probert, didn't he?
Proper jockey.
Unbelievable.
That's why I think it might get matched low.
Yeah.
Before getting chinned.
Horses run for him. He's a very good rider.
And Mohammed Mubarak, target trainer as well. So Van Dad, the in-running play for Barry in an interesting race. I wanted to take on the favourite as well. We were just having a bit of a giggle actually as Barry was going on. I must have said just before we came on air. No, I don't mean warbling on. I mean putting your trade on.
Dave,
because Barry, in the far seat, it's actually TC that's doing your trading for you. Now, TC...
I was happy to go with it.
You've been treating him as Enzo's secretary. Have you ever thought you'd be underneath the course commentator?
He could work for me if he wants to.
Enzo was the magic fingers today.
He's not. It would all go wrong.
Look, I was playing along with it, Barry. I thought it was quite amusing.
But he was happy to keep going. He was like, we won't tell him. I'm enjoying this. But it is TC that's giving you the luck this afternoon. He's your man, believe it or not. And Rob Lee in my ear went, someone let Barry know. It is TC doing the good work today. So I wanted to take on this fab as well. I thought Swiss Pride was overpriced for a last time out winner. Roger Teal's horse. We've still got some backlash in the book. George Rook, the current leading all-weather apprentice. He'll do for me from stall 1. Get him out. Nice simple ride. Beat Caponati Con last time. Horse I do quite like, but I think that form will be repeated, and I think it would just about be good enough for me. I don't know, how do you feel about horses that are having 3 runs in quick succession turning out in the 4-timer? It doesn't often happen, does it?
No, it does. You do get one. You just seem to get one every winter, don't you? Does this sort of go on these little marches or keeps on winning? And Power Over Me, obviously, the one this time.
Do they still do the winning most horse? Was it Spare Parts?
Spare Parts.
Spare Parts.
Graham, he won a load of it. He won about 11 races, didn't he?
He did. Did he get done though in the end that year? Mark Johnson's horse.
Somebody beat him, didn't he, that year?
Went on to be a very good. It was a tough horse, wasn't it?
King's Advice. Is that it?
No,
it
was the miler, wasn't it? That won at Windsor. Franny Norton used to get on with him really, really well. Anyway, they turned up. Spare Parts. There was the controversy of would he get in, of course, to the All-Weather Championship Day. We missed out All-Weather Championship Day,
didn't we, last year? The Winter Derby was the highlight of the year.
Yeah,
all-weather-wise in the end, wasn't it?
Is that your highlight of the year? Is it? The Winter Derby.
It was the all-weather season last year.
Yeah, look, it's personally something that I absolutely love. I know you do as well.
Yeah.
TC, you love your all-weather racing as well, don't you?
Yeah, huge fan. Anything on the dirt, synthetic surface, tapeter, polytrack, give it to me. I love it.
Yeah, well, the reason why I like it, especially at this time of year when it is, its name is well advertised, of course, is that it keeps going. It keeps us going, doesn't it? You know, it keeps the pages going out. And these horses run against each other a lot. You know, we get collateral form all over the place. You know, it's not too much you're taking on chance. Every all-weather track is different. Of course, form around Lingfield is important. And this chap, you know, this favourite has a lot going for it. Robin Brisbane obviously probably feels he's still ahead of his mark. But for me, a shade of odds on, no thank you. So it's Swiss Pride. Enzo, where are you playing?
I'm with Van Dad. I know that Barry's laid him in the run, but I think he's been running pretty well. I know it's amazing.
Did you just look at this race and think, Probert's on? There's that simplicity.
You know that's what he's
I
done.
talk about. Unbelievable. Yesterday, when he's in the midst of drawing his maps and he's doing all his... You did get your selections in rather quick.
I had it folded, and then I look at the jockeys afterwards. I unveiled the jockeys afterwards.
Just in case Prober... I've got against Prober. It's Enzo's friend. You are close to him, though, aren't you?
42 all-weather winners this season already. He's only got one man ahead of him in the all-weather championships.
I bet his agent doesn't like you. Do you know what I mean? Because you're hovering around.
I parked up to him at Lingfield next to him the other day as well.
Did you?
Yeah,
Was it sneering? Here he is, absolutely. It said Enzo's the biggest fan of David Prover out there. And he's one of those jockeys that's always in the right sort of place.
Underrated, I think. I mean, Andrew Balding's given lots of chances down the years, but I think he's often overlooked in big races, which I don't think is right. I mean, Sir Michael Stout trusted him, didn't he, to ride the good horse behind Enable, Crystal Ocean, in the September stakes. I mean, I hope he gets a big job. He's over, what was he, 32 now, I think, David Prover. I think he needs a big,
that's a
big
fair
job
point,
soon.
actually. Yeah.
Do you think he's better on the all-weather than he is turf?
I think horses run for him really well in the all-weather. He gets, Wolverhampton, he's ridden a lot of big price winners. I think he's very good on turf. I just think he's all round. He's a very good jockey. I think he's at the stage of his career. Remember, he came through the ranks with William Buick. They were joint top apprentice, weren't they?
Yeah.
So
He might need a biographer one day.
Skyward, and
He might need a biographer one day if he gets the Group 1.
happy to be the ghostwriter for that.
Yeah, the ghost writer. Imagine Enzo writing being in your autobiography. Horrible, wouldn't it?
It'd be called Just Wins, wouldn't it?
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Probert kept it simple. TC.
The favourite wins.
Favourite wins?
Yeah,
we've just been going attack. And you're, okay.
He's won 3 races in quick succession off marks of 59, 64 and 73. He's only up £2 here. And he achieved a race post rating of 89 last time out. Look, if he runs to that standard, he's going to win this off a mark of 75. He's just by far the best horse in the race. And yes, the only negative could be that he's returning quickly after a small layoff, but then he did that last time. He only had a 3-day layoff between his last 2 Lingfield wins and produced a massive career best, so I wouldn't be taking him on.
It's remarkable how he does seem to have turned a corner since leaving Johnny Martels, though, as Barry said. And Barry, it looks like he's hardening up to meet in the market.
Yeah, he's 189 at the moment. I suppose the reason he's out so soon is just to take advantage of that, just a mandatory penalty as opposed to what he's gone up to 75. So he's not a horse that stood up to a lot of training over here. When he was with Michael O'Callaghan, I think he only had one run and there was a whole litany of excuses for him. He transferred to Johnny. Johnny couldn't get a win out of him. And, you know, obviously they've turned him inside out, but at 1.89, I'd be a layer all day.
Wow, okay, wow. Yeah, same. So that's 3 against the Fav. 10-point Thomas, the man with confidence on his side, is just seeing the ball big with this.
I have said that. I personally haven't backed him, but I do think he's a good thing.
Yeah, okay, what sort of price
Why
were
wouldn't
you
you back
hoping
him if you think he's a good thing?
Yeah,
because I don't back odds on shots.
You must back odds on
Is
shots.
that a blanket rule, TC rule?
Yeah. If something was
Unless there's one that should be 1 to 3 and it's 4 to 5.
So you do
this
back
should
odds
be
on
1
So you do back odds on shots.
Yeah, here we go. Is that youthful exuberance, Barry?
The exception, just in general, like in a Lingfield handicap like this on a Saturday, there's much better opportunities later on. I could just let this one slide and win, you know.
Happy to let it win. All right, fair enough. But again, a lot of people have this in the multiples. Have you got it in a double with Shishkin? If you have, good luck. They're going in. We're expecting to lead. I guess Gamble Prospector on my pace map. I've got Caponanti gone.
Held up Caponanti normally, isn't he? Choco Star's interesting. What they're going to do with him? I fancied him at Kempton the other day. Didn't quite manage to get up. I don't think
Joey Haynes, who rode the 66 to 1 winner of the second.
Yeah, it was a shock, wasn't it?
That was a blowout race for me, that one, yeah.
Choco Star, she's interesting. They fancied her at Kempton just a couple of days ago, in fact. And it's
has won over course and distance, though.
Yeah.
Went on a bit of a roll last.
I think this race is better than the Kempton race, though, that she ran in. We shall see.
Okay. Swiss Pride for me, then. I'm hoping that George Rook can still do the steering there. I think last time out when I've got some back class Roger Teal. Do you know what? I like Roger Teal horses. That's one thing that I sort of succumb to a little bit. Big fan of Roger Teal horses. He's a trainer that I just like a lot. Okay, off we go then. We're off. 2:20 at Lingfield.
Yeah, they're racing over 6. Choco Star missed it and is right at the back early on. And ridden along as well by Haynes. One that broke well was Global Prospector for Dara Keenan. Is going to lead up by a couple of lengths to Power Over Me, the favourite. He's going to sit second. Nice sit for the favourite. Swiss Pride is just in behind them on the rails. Out a bit wider is Van Dad. And then comes the grey Caponanti Con. The back duo are Paddy Power and Choco Star, who missed the break, is last of the 7 as they race down the side. They're 3 furlongs from the finish. The leader is still Global Prospector in second place. Moving well, though, Power Over Me. I think he's gone shorter in the run, I'd imagine. Tanking.
Yeah, he's 166 now, 6-4 on. The only danger seems to be Van Dad, is they want to be on him at 6 now.
Yeah, here comes Van Dad around the outside for Pro, but to try and throw down a challenge. But I think Power Over Me's going well.
Swiss Pride's not done with yet, guys.
On the fence, Swiss Pride. They turn for home. Power Over
Go on,
Me.
Swiss.
Kieran O'Neill
Favourites
down the outside.
beaten.
Swiss Pride's got a great
Go on,
chance.
Swiss.
Swiss Pride and Power Over Me, who's coming
Here
back
comes
on the
the
outside.
five. Go on, Swiss. You got
Swiss
this, the
Pride's in
Rook.
front. Power Over Me trying to come back.
The Rook
Global
takes the
Prospector.
pawn.
Caponanti Con's coming, the grey.
Come on, get off the
Oh, the
inside,
Caponanti's
George.
flying
Go on,
the
the
grey.
Swiss Pride.
Swiss Pride, Caponanti
Get him on
Con.
nose along
The
fire,
Con's
I don't
won it.
believe it.
Caponanti Con, Swiss Pride. The favourite had to check late on. Power Over Me, I think he's finished third, but he just suffered some interference late on. But Caponanti Con, it was the late closer. How many times have we seen that at Lingfield Park? Down the outside with that camber you were talking about.
Yeah.
The wider you are, the better you are.
He was beaten a short head by Swiss Pride last time. I said I thought that was the form to concentrate on. I was hoping it would go the other way. And if you're watching that, the way that Swiss Pride under George Rook took that inside run, you may think that he nicks a length there. But they call it the longest furlong in racing at Lingfield. Why? Because a horse goes down the outside and it is painful if you are on the leader. That is where the camber is at its best, its fairest basically, and they charge down and there was an air of inevitability on it. If you're like me and you're on Swiss Pride. And the favourite TC, I guess, I know he's chopped up a bit there, but he just didn't quite find, did he?
No, maybe the 3 quick runs did take its toll in the end. He had every chance. He was in the perfect position. He traded at just shorter than 1-2, I think, in the run early on.
Traded 136, a low
136.
136.
So he was in the perfect position. Everyone thought, the in-running punters thought that he had the race in the bag, but just didn't pick up in the straight.
There you go then. So that form has there. Oh, close but no cigar for me. Good luck. Well, fair play if he went for Reece Clutterbuck. Taking off that 70. I tell you what, I didn't look like a £7 claim there.
Tricky ride this horse as well, you know.
He can be. He's got lots of seconds. He's been beaten.
I think I've backed him once.
Before.
He's hit the front and got collared. I think you got to time it perfectly, and he has today.
I asked for him to get off the inside. George Rook did absolutely nothing wrong there.
Yeah,
He'll probably be getting a day.
I think Kieran O'Neill was very lucky there not to finish up on the deck.
Yeah.
He seemed to check just before the post. It could have been a nasty little incident there. I'm sure the stewards will be having a look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
It
second,
looked like George Rook on
the second jinked a little bit, didn't it? I don't think George Rook could do a great deal wrong. I wonder if, as I said, get off the inside. The jockeys know that if they're on the inside rail, they are in trouble. They finally, most of the jockeys have worked that one out. But anyway, that was a dramatic old finish, wasn't it? Oh, let it not be said that you don't see that around Lingfield. So we're off and running there. It's one of 3 races. We'll be going off at 3:35 for the last race there. The highlight of the day, handicap-wise, at 0-95. I really like one in that. Give it to you nearer the time. So, back to Doncaster we must go. What comes up next at Donny, of course?
River Don.
240. It's the
Good Novice
River
Earl.
Don. Goodness gracious me.
No Flash Collonge, sadly, doesn't run.
Is it just the one non? You've been keeping up with this.
It is.
Yes.
Correct.
Do you reckon this is the toughest race of the jump season so far?
Whoa.
How are you supposed to be confident about anything in this race?
Money for Oscar Honeybee, I think. isn't it?
Wide
I
open.
think she's
And coming
gone
from 10-point confident Tom, if he's not confident about this race, we're all in trouble. Let's go to some help from the market for Barry Orr then.
Yeah, Oscar Honeybee, you've flagged him up there. He's been really well supported. He's into 92 now. The one thing I'll say about Oscar Honeybee, his last 3 runs, he's traded at 2-1 on, 1.55, 1.17, which is around 6-1 on, and 106, which is 16-1 on, and has been done each of the 3 occasions. So I don't know whether he's a short runner or whether he's not finding much off it, but one to be aware of. The horse I like in it, though, is Fern Hill. He's 2 for 2 in Wetherby. He was really good attitude last day when he beat Witness Protection. And that form has been shown in good light with Witness Protection has won in Chepstow last time out by 11 lengths. So I just think Fern Hill, the attitude that he showed that day to beat Witness Protection, I was really impressed with that. I think the step up and trip is going to suit him. I think there's a lot of things in his favour. Like Tom says, though, it's a minefield of a race, really, really competitive. We've seen a lot of competitive novice earls, staying novice earls on the channel over the last couple of weeks, and this definitely fits that category. So just nice and simple here, Tom. Going to back winning place, 25 quid Fernhill. I think he's about 11.5. Happy to take that price. And then in the place market, we're going to go 4 places. The traditional places in this, because it's a novice hurl, is 3 places, but we're going to select the 4 places. You could go as far as 5 places on the exchange if you want, but in 4 places, Fernhill is currently trading around 13th, 2.66. Going to have 25 quid on that as well. So I just think he could outstay them here, and he's very likable horse. This
bets are matched.
Yeah, Fernhill, you mentioned witness protection. That was due to run in the last race at Cheltenham today, Barry, with Mike Keithley. That would have been well fancied as well. And I must admit, I hovered over him. I suppose you might be right, TC. Is this the most competitive? What you mean outside of handicap company thus far?
Just in general, I think. Like, I could make a case for every single horse in this race, even the rank outsider. And you can't be solid on anything because they're all so similar on ratings. They're all running novice events, but the form is really hard to equate against each other. I thought Pat's Fancy was the bet in the race if there was one, but the price last night capitulated from 9s into about 9 to 2.
Bigger now, about 7.8.
Yeah, about 6 to 1, probably going to get a little bit bigger as well, which is a good thing if you're backing him. But I just thought it was so wide open, and if you want to bet, you're probably wise to go each way.
Okay, so Pat's Fancy, who finished ahead of My Fancy, Ask a Honeybee last time at Cheltenham. Remember they omitted that last hurdle. That wouldn't have been ideal for Ask a Honeybee. Ask a Honeybee has had them scratching their heads a little bit.
Was it? That day.
Over 2 mile 6 on Fighting Fifth Day.
Yeah.
That was the day when a lot of people jumped off him, and I thought to myself, right, the next one will be the acid test. Of course, he then went to Cheltenham.
The jockey frustrated me in that race. I think he should have won.
Paddy Brennan was it?
He was trying to be a bit too clever.
Didn't he switch to the inside?
Paddy Brennan?
Yeah.
What?
Newcastle.
Yeah.
Really?
He tried to switch to the inside, didn't he?
I thought he's just trying to do a bit
really
overcomplicate. Yeah.
It looked like to me like he wanted out and out 3 miles. Now, what they did at Cheltenham when they went there to back that up, that opinion, they went for home off the home bend, if you remember. A couple of horses did that at the meeting and didn't get home. I think if they hold on to him for a little bit longer.
Yeah, he's got.
He's a bit of a thinker, Oscar Honeybee.
Yeah,
I think they think that he is one of the best horses in the yard at Fergal O'Brien.
The yard had a great time, haven't they?
Really good season again, Fergal O'Brien. They've course Imperial Alcazar, who won at Warwick a couple back. He looks like he's going to be a big player for the Potemps, isn't he? And they thoroughly deserve a Cheltenham Festival winner, that's for sure. And yeah, he'll do for me. But listen, it's not a confident play.
I like Kim Bailey's a bit. Bob
Who
Hope.
beat him
at
Exeter, but he's £6 worse off.
I saw him when I was at Doncaster. I was calling when he won in November.
Looked beat, didn't he?
He did, didn't he?
He's
really
a finder.
He is. He digs deep. Stable, not in the form they were in maybe a couple of months ago, to be fair.
Rocky's Treasure in the same colours coming up in the big race.
Yeah, but I think this horse could go well. You should be there or thereabouts. But
you say they're not in the form. Did you see what happened last Saturday?
Go on.
First flow.
Yeah.
First flow, yeah. But
What
in
are you
terms
on
of
about,
the strike rate in November was hotter than it is in January. But they couldn't keep that up. They started the season so well, didn't they, Kim Bailey? But obviously, First Flow was brilliant. But yeah, I think Bob Hope or No Hope's got a good. I love the name. I think he's got a great chance. What do you make of Emir Sakri? I thought he was going to be favourite for this race. When I looked at the decks, but he's
a big drifter, isn't he? That's about 10.
He was a drifter when he won it. Was it Ascot he won at on his debut for Nicki Henderson?
It was, up 125. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a big. It was a big drifter that day. And Nicki Henderson has had two winners from 3 runners, Barry, in this race. Constantine Bay and a horse called Karachi Apache. Blimey, there's a name.
The only thing about Emir Sakri was I think he had plenty of racing in France. I think he might have raced 8 times and he was still a maiden over there. So, I don't know whether that was just, it was a poor race maybe in Ascot that he won, but he's very weak in the market here now. He's out to over 12 to 1. So, like you say, he was one of the fancied ones. He was 5 to 1 chance this time yesterday on the sportsbook. Yeah,
and look, historically, if you back Nicki Henderson horses in this race, you're not going to go too far away. Floresta second in the previous race, Sprinter Sacra. Just going back to the time of that Sprinter Sacra race, it was pretty sensational. It was 5 seconds slower than the standard, which on that ground, although quickening, and if you think that he was easing down a bit. Shishkin. It was a sizzling time, basically. He's got the clock watchers out there at the Racing Post. Really, really excited. We've got Dave Carr on track for us at Doncaster today. We're hoping to go today, but a couple of gremlins mean we can't. But he's been sending me the quotes. And go back to Miranda, the winner of the Grade 2 just now. If it's soft ground, says Harry Durham, we will go to the Kingwell Hurdle at Wincanton, which is obviously known as a champion hurdle trial. So really going to be ambitious with her now.
Yeah. She won well, didn't she?
Does Paul Nicholls ever not win races at Wincanton?
And did she win at Wincanton prior to
Yeah.
the defeat last time? She did. She beat the horse of, oh, goodness gracious me, what's it called? I have to look it up now. A decent horse, Miss, oh, Lord.
Miss Hyde? Was
No,
that
not Miss Hyde. Not your horse, TC. No, I will get that up. Miss Heritage? Miss Heritage, there you go, who's since come out and finished second at Newbury. So look, Miranda, we wonder where she goes next, will be the Kingwell. She likes soft ground. That's what you get here at the Racing Post, and on Racing Post Live we will break you all the anti-post comments coming. Of course, you'll find out the tips tomorrow at 6 o'clock in your members section. Get all the reports then as well, and the digital edition at 9 p.m. too. Going to be a lot of fallout still coming up though. We've got the best races of the day. We've had Shishkin out the way. Now the competitive action really starts. Let's get some more social media comments up. Been a while since we've had some, but Stephen Hughes comes back onto the show. Great to have you back, Stephen. Port Storm here. 40s will love the going. Ian Duncan's horse. Interesting, Stephen. I must admit, I looked at this chap because I think I was either with him last time, or he seems to have a horse that's been slightly forgotten about, doesn't he? Will love the ground. And was it Ayr that he won?
Yeah.
It was Ayr, wasn't it? And he was due to go back there. I think they abandoned the meeting. We had a couple of abandonments, didn't we, at Ayr recently. So I guess this is something that's come up in the calendar. Probably a bit of an afterthought. Conor O'Farrell rides. He's having a really good season as well, isn't he? Had that hot spell.
Yeah, he's a good jockey, and he is a bit of an air specialist, this Port Storm, but he travels really nicely for his races and will relish the big field and the likely decent gallop in this event as well. So, look, at a big price in a really competitive event, you can't write him off. You know, there are far worse each way bets today than a 40-1 shot in this.
Cheers, TC. Let's get some more up then on the screen. Thanks, Stephen. Manny Draycott, regular contributor, comes on. Ashdown Lad, hoping the last one was too bad to be true.
Travels well, this horse, doesn't he?
And of course, has a couple of verdicts over some of the horses here as well, doesn't he? So, yes, interesting for the connections, isn't it? Darren
Yates, who spent a few quid, doesn't he, on his horses?
To say he spent a few quid is an understatement, and good to see him with a good horse. Was it the Cheltenham thing last time? Maybe. He was expected to nearly win that. He won a handicap as he liked, didn't he?
He won at Weatherby, didn't he?
He was touched off by Oscar Honeybee at Weatherby on his debut.
Looked like he was going to beat him all the way and just got out battled.
That was that first run, wasn't it?
Then
showed
hacked
his
up
mettle.
next time. Utoxeter.
Back at Weatherby.
Then won at Utoxeter, I think, and then got beaten last time. But
you know you're racing.
He's I like him. I mean,
for a man that keeps it simple, you don't half look at the form book.
This chapter, you looks like you need to stay here as well, don't you, today? And
that long home straight, isn't it? Look, the outsider of the lot took the lot. They thought he'd do a lot better last time, and he's 66-1. Let's get the final one in then. Let's get it up. Thomas Irish HD comes in, liking the Cobb, especially paying extra places. Then Barry, what is the Cobb in the place market? A horse that going back this way around, he'll love the ground. Could well have a say.
Yeah, a horse we're familiar with, Dave. We saw him run last day. He's currently 26-1 on the Betfair Exchange, 27.0. I suppose at the moment, Ashtown Lad, there's been money for that as well, but the favourite continues to harden at the head of the market, 4.6 now, which is 7-2. Wow. So it's all about Paddy Brennan's Aska Honeybee. Yeah,
I have to say that I wouldn't be that keen on him at under 4-1. He is the horse that I expect him. If he's out of the top four, I'd be very surprised. He's going to have to have a bad off day. Conor Brace was on last time. Paddy Brennan gets back on, and Paddy's got business with this horse.
He has.
You know what Paddy Brennan's like?
He
loves foiling gambles. Like if he knows a horse is fancied and he doesn't buy ahead, you watch him as he goes past the post. There's hardly any. He's such a fierce competitor, Paddy. It's ridiculous. And at Newcastle, I think he thought he left it behind on this horse.
Bob Hope or no hope, when he won at Doncaster, he made a mistake, didn't he, at the last? Quite a bad one.
We were watching I saw the replay there, and he still won.
Because I was commentating that race, and it was in my mind that he's beaten it, and then he kind of came again.
Barters Hill won this race with Ben Pauling, of course, the trainer of the Cobb a couple of years ago, and he's got that Barters about him, Bob or Hope or no hope. I think it'll be a lovely chaser next year, won't he?
Yeah, definitely.
It's that time of year now where we're getting from connections of all sorts of trainers. He'll be a lovely chaser next year. Yeah. Emma Lavelle won a race yesterday with her only runner at the track called Sam Barton. She texted me saying he'll be even better over fences next year. So when I spoke to Emma yesterday, she was actually quite keen on Shantang, who pulled up last time in the Lanzarote. Tom Segal's put this up as well, hasn't he? Yeah. The price-wise. And if you remember when he won at Ascot, couple back, he sort of lugged to his left a little bit. I asked him what the quirk was. She said that he hates going on horse boxes, this chap, Shantang. He's got the penalty, but they're going to change the tactics a little bit. Adam Wedge, Emma Lavelle at Doncaster. 20 to 1. I'm surprised he's that big. Conceding weight all round, but they think there's another big day in this chap. And
I called him a
it'll be
race at
interesting.
Taunton last year, and I still can't believe he didn't win.
He
that
lost
race.
to that Tizard horse, didn't he? I
Oh,
was
to
on him that
Butterwick
day.
something.
Yeah,
Adrian
short
Heskin
price.
rode him. It was
Butterwick
just like
Brook.
one of those races you just watch, you think, how's that horse
Pulled
not
that
won?
out of the air, TC,
Mate,
didn't he?
I was
But
on-
it was Butterwick Brook, yeah.
Should have won, shouldn't it? Should have won by length.
yeah,
the best
this
horse
time
by
I
mile.
haven't got
last
over it. I'm still not over it.
They just think they haven't quite got the better of him. But if you think he was fancy for the Lanzarote, and he just needs to settle, so they're going to mix things up. But fascinating race. Castle Robbins, another one. Paul Keeley told me the bet of the weekend was Exploiteur, who runs in this. Lily Pinchin and Graham McPherson as well says it's gone under the radar a little bit as well. The more you look at this, the more head scratching
This
we are
favourite's
doing.
more money for it, 4.3. It's going to go up at 3 to 1, isn't it?
Oscar Honeybee.
Extraordinary. This was what was it last night? About 6s, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. As I was actually driving up today, a friend of mine called me and went,
is quite a
"Price has
gamble."
gone, the price has gone," you know. And I was like, I don't want to back it under 4 to 1. So I've not played massively on this, but it is one of my plays of the day. I was going to do,
Yeah.
but it's a project of mine.
He could be a bit better than these, couldn't he? That's the only. If there's a really good horse in this over hurdles, I think it's him.
And watch back the Cheltenham run again. You've still got time to do that. Look back at Cheltenham last time, and Tom's fancy, Pat's fancy, just finishes ahead of him. Again, it might well play out again. But he's coming back at the line a little bit, Oscar Honeybee. And like I said, I do think he's got the odd thing going on up there. I think he's still mentally a little bit immature. And I'm sure they'll hold on to him for longer again this time.
He travels really well for a horse that stays powerfully. I thought that piece of form is probably the strongest on offer in this race with Oscar Honeybee, Ashtown Lad, Pat's Fancy in it. They were the three that I was focusing on. I wasn't expecting the gamble on Oscar Honeybee though. It's very short
Pat's
now.
Fancy, if you remember Rebecca Curtis, who was her Stayers Hurdle winner? What's the name of it?
Bob, no, it's
At Fisher's Cross.
No, yes, at Fisher's Cross,
Yeah.
the Stayers Hurdle winner.
Lisnagar Oscar.
Lisnagar Oscar.
Lisnagar
Thank you.
Oscar, yeah.
Such a difficult one to remember that, isn't it? Pat's Fancy reminds you a little bit of this chap, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's definitely a project. He stays so well as well. He seems like the type that might get 4 miles, in time over fences.
Barry, who's the favourite on the sports book at the moment? Give you a curveball for the Albert Bartlett. It's always the one, isn't it, of the novice hurdles that takes the longest to form. Unless you've got, you can have hot pots. And you remember Death Duty a couple of years ago. It's, since until Monkfish won it, of course, for Willie Mullins' sizzling form, the Albert Bartlett now.
Statler,
from
isn't
last
it? The
year.
Mullins thing that won at Leopardstown.
Yeah, he's
it's
10 to
Statler.
1 favourite. Ashdale Bob is in there as well, around the 10 to 1 chance. The money horse in the race has been Paul Nichols, Barbados Bucks. Yeah, that initially I think we put that into at 33 off the back of his win. Was it Kempton or Sandown last
For
day?
Andrew
or
Stewart,
Kempton?
yeah. For Andy Stewart.
Yeah, and it's been absolutely mulled in the market. He's into 12 to 1 now, so that's the one that's been the real mover in the Albert Bartlett.
Let's hope we could see some ripples on that. And like I say, it's the one of the novice hurdles. Triumph. You got your Supreme, of course, your Ballymore. This is the one novice.
An interesting
takes time to.
An interesting one in this, Dave. Back in 2006, Christian Williams rode the winner of this race.
Whoa!
With a Neptune Calange.
Blimey!
Go Grand National winner.
Did he win this race? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he won this race back in 2006.
Barry's been
Ridden by
beavering
Christian
away,
Williams.
isn't he? There. Yeah. Okay. He was. Of course, the Grand National winner. It finished third in that amazing Gold Cup on Demon and Corto Star. So, look, very good horses win this race then, but trying to pick out a confident hope here. TC
This
says
is turning
it's the
into
most competitive race.
This is turning
of the
into one of the
entire
best battles of the
season.
day, isn't it? This Gamble is favourite.
Ask a Honeybee. Yeah, what price? What, 3 to 1 now, Barry?
4.2, yeah, plenty of confidence behind him.
Wow.
Was as big as 8.8 for small money now. Only 20 quid match at 8.8, but 8.6, 289 quid, 8.4, 556 quid. So all the way down. And in a competitive race like this, where there's 700,000 so far matched pre-race, it takes a few quid to do that. Just let me have a look and I'll tell you how much of the market he actually takes up. So out of that 700 grand that's been matched, 230 of it has been wagered on him.
Wow. Thank you, Barry. Okay, so it looks like Emir Sacra is going to be the hare for them. They made all, of course, didn't they, at big price at Ascot.
Looks like another one of these
buzzy
headstrong
type.
Henderson horses, isn't it?
Yeah,
Another
very buzzy.
Sacra that pulls.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get the siblings, don't we, of these great horses, and it's very difficult to find another one. But also, is he a brother? He's by Network, isn't he? Of course, Emir Sacra. So we're expecting him to line up and lead. Just looking at some of them out the back, Exploiteur out the back, Port Storm, Stephen Hughes.
What's
was
Paddy
it?
going to do
I
on
don't know,
Oscar
Ashdown
Honeybee?
Lad out there.
Is he going to play him late?
Midfield, I think. Maybe just sit.
Looks
Just
he's going to be
leaders.
prominent, is it?
Track leaders, maybe. Again, I can't see them charging. Like, I know there's no hill this time, for Ask a Honeybee, but I just think he had to think about it. Maybe he thought he'd done enough when he was in front. They didn't jump the last. I don't think that helped him, but I'd be surprised if they don't try and wait. Fascinating race coming up then. It is the River Don. It is Tony Ennis to call them home.
Here we go then. This is the Albert Bartlett River Don Novices Hurdle, Class 1, Grade 2. Extra yardage means 3 miles and 135 yards now. They're going to take a total of 11 flights. They start just at the top corner of the track. I'll just jump this flight on the side. They're off. Emir Sacre has gone to the front. Dropped out the back is Port Storm early on, but it's Emir Sacre who's clear by a couple of lengths to in second place. Bob Hope or No Hope, who made the running when he won here a couple of runs ago. Just in behind them, racing in third place is Fern Hill. Behind those on the inside is Castle Robin, who's racing in company there with Pat's Fancy, who's in midfield. Then comes the outsider, Took the Lot. Ashtown Lads going the long way round, right on the outside for the Skeltons. Ask a Honeybee, the gambled on favourites in mid-pack at this stage as they race towards the first flight, which is taken on the side of the track. Just looking, they've all got over safely.
Different jumping there, isn't it?
Yeah, Port Storm's just a few lengths off them at the back, isn't he, at the moment?
And the two rags are a little bit slow at the back.
Yeah, also in rear is Exploiteur at this stage. Making the turn then. This brings them back towards the home straight at Doncaster, a long home straight. They've got 3 flights in the home straight awaiting them. And Emir Sacre is out in front by a couple of lengths to Bob Hope or No Hope, who's in his share of second with Fern Hill. Ashtown Lad being kept wide at the moment. Ask a Honeybee's dropped into about 6th or 7th. He's alongside Castle Robin, the gambled on favourite for Paddy Brennan. Further back to find Shangtang, I've not mentioned yet. That one's on the outside with Took the Lot. The Cobb is towards the inner with Pat's Fancy. And then comes Exploiteur. And still the back marker Port Storm is just a couple of lengths off Exploiteur at the back as they race up the home straight first time around.
They're only
He's a Scottish national horse, isn't he, Port Storm?
Definitely. They're only got an average gallop, but they're very strong out or early. I wouldn't want to be too far off the speed.
Yeah, a couple of them are just shaking the reins there. I've got a feeling it might be Pat's Fancy, TC, for you. I think I saw a little shake of the reins there at one point.
Yeah, he's a proper galloper, a proper stayer. He's not the strong travelling type as some of these, so that wouldn't worry me at this stage.
The Cobb staying to the inside. Was that Matty Drake or Andy Irish HD? I can't remember, but he keeps to the inside. He's got absolutely no problems with sloppy ground in, but Stan's side seems to be the way they want to go as well. Enzo, they're passing the stands for the last time.
Yep, they certainly are, and they're being led by Emir Sacre on this run towards the hurdle that will be the last next time around in the River Don Novices Hurdle. Ask a Honeybee's tanking up a little bit, isn't he, Barry was just saying. They're into about 4th. He's made a bit of ground though, Barry. Was much change in his price or not really, Ask a Honeybee?
He's 4.4, Enzo. He's still knocking around that. Bob Hope or No Hope is 6.2. Ashtown Lads 6.4. Fern Hill 9.4. It's all the horses that are up there in the vanguard seem to be shortening up, just marginally though, not significant shortens.
Okay, so Emir Sacre is still in front to Bob Hope or No Hope in second. The line of 3 then, we have Castle Robin who's going up the shortest way, just ahead of Fern Hill. Ask a Honeybee's back in 5th. A little change of his arms there, Paddy. Was just keeping him interested round that turn. Then comes Ashtown Lad, who normally travels well. He's doing just that. He's followed by the Cobb and then Pat's Fancy.
He's back on the bridle, isn't he, TC?
Yeah, just being nudged into the bridle. He's always behind the bridle, this horse, Pat's Fancy. He's potentially an in-running play in races like this because he drifts, obviously, in the market when people see the jockey pushing along, but he's still travelling nicely.
Bob Hope's going well, wasn't he? Second place. Bassey will be happy there. Jumping all right too.
Tony Ennis's Fancy, of course. She's going to start to show your true colours on your screen.
Come on, David Bass. Right, Emir Sacre's in front to Bob Hope or No Hope. Not sure about the favourite now. He's hit that a bit, isn't he? Ask a Honeybee.
I wouldn't be too worried about him again. Like I say, he is the lazy type, I think.
Okay, he's still in it. So is Castle Robin. So is Fern Hill. So is the Cobb on the inside. Then Pat's Fancy.
I tell you, who's catching my eye, Shantang. They said they were going to get him settled. He blew his brains in the Lanzarote last time, obviously being ridden to get the trip, but he's travelling all right.
Yeah, heading towards this flight. Bob Hope or No Hope, maybe just in front from Emir Sacre. The Honeybee's back in it now. Touchdown in third place. Yeah, Ashtown Lad was going well. Not now. Ashtown Lad. He's come off the bridle on the wide outside. Shantang is moving well, isn't he?
Yeah.
At this stage, catching
Keeping
the eye.
that wide steer.
Yeah, the Cobb is also moving nicely. Likewise, Exploiteur is getting into it. So many chances here. Then comes Took the Lot and still off them is Port Storm.
Call it, TC.
I think Bob Hope or No Hope should be favourite in running right now. He's on the speed. He seems to be travelling really nicely up front.
Let's go to Barry, see if that's borne out then.
Yeah, Ask a Honeybee and him are vying for favouritism. There seems to be a whole host of them in it here. Ashdown Lad, 7.4. Outside of that, Emir Sakri's the only one. He looks like he's given best now. He's out to 18.
That's 4 out then we've just jumped.
Bob Hope or No Hope leads the River Don field. That was the flight on the side.
Now they're racing.
3 left to jump. Bob Hope or No Hope's in front from Ashtown Loud, who's getting back into it again. Ask a Honeybee is third.
Shantang.
Shantang moving well. Exploiteur not been asked for his effort yet. Castle Robin still there. Emir Sakri has come back for more.
Fernhill's still there, Enzo.
Fernhill's still going. Don't worry, Barry. You're in with a shout.
Yeah, Fernhill. Keelan Woods is going well, isn't he?
He'll stay. He was game in Weatherby last day.
Honeybee looks in trouble to me now.
I think the favourite Gamble's got astray, isn't it? Ask a Honeybee looks in trouble.
Shantang wins a minute, doesn't he, if he gets home?
Will he stay? Bob Hope or No Hope's come off the bride all of a sudden. It's all changed now, isn't
Port
it?
Storm's getting into it.
Shantang on the outside.
Exploiteur
is right there as well. There's so many with chances. Exploiteur, I'd say, perhaps going best.
Paul Keeley getting excited out there.
The Cobb is just tracking the leaders through in about 3rd place. Then Castle Robin, Fernhill, Shantang pulled up Ashdown Lad. Looks like Bob Hope's going to be pulled up as well.
He capitulated Bob Hope, No Hope. He literally fell in the hole,
nothing.
Emir Sakra still in there on the inside. Okay, what's this, 3 out?
Yeah, it's Exploiteur and the Cobb, 1 and 2 over that hurdle. Maybe Exploiteur just in front, but the Cobb's coming there strongly towards the near side for Darryl Jacob. Looks full of confidence.
Port Storm as well.
Shantang.
Yeah, the Port's coming from a mile back.
The Port, has he left it too late?
He's from a long way back, Port Storm. The Cobb's in front to Shantang. Exploiteur looks to be tiring. Still, Port Storm might have a say in this, but the Cobb's going best. No doubt about that.
This could
on
be
the run
massive.
to the last.
This is, I'll tell you what, the social media callers are absolutely screaming at this point.
Yeah, the Cobb's got a
Shantang not
clear
getting
lead. I
home.
think he's got it, isn't he? If he jumps the last, the Cobb. Here he is. Darryl Jacob in great form. Jumps it well. Port Storm, what a race he's run.
Yeah.
He's now into 2nd. Exploiteur, they're going up and down the spot.
Yeah, they're legless. It must be testing out there.
Yeah,
They didn't even go that hard early. They went a solid pace,
good
but
to
not.
soft places there. The Cobb's going to win anyway. Well done to Ben Pauling, Darryl Jacob, and the Ben Pauling Racing Club, because the Cobb has won this by double digits. Close for 2nd. Port Storm is up there. Look at old Castle Robin sticking to his task as well. Very close for 2nd. Maybe just Port Storm. Castle Robin 3rd. 4th Exploiteur, I think. 5th Shantang.
That was a tough watch, wasn't it, from the second last, whatever you were on. Some great social media shouts we had. Of course, the Cobb was one out there, going back, left-handed, key for him on horrible ground. He absolutely loves it. Now, Ben Pauling, 4 runners in this since Barters Hill won for him in 2016. Nadatekat?
Yeah.
that one. That one also won for him in 2009. So he's now 3 from 4 in this.
Well, we see that he loves this race. We should have.
Fair play to Ben Pauling. He has absolutely taken this apart. Now, lots of horses either didn't act on the ground or didn't see it out. Port Storm ran an unbelievable race. I guess if you're on that for the win, you're thinking, why'd you give him so much to do, man? A couple of slow jumps, though, put him behind TC.
Yeah, definitely. He was far off the gallop at the start, and yeah, he didn't jump overly fluently throughout. But it was weird because after the last there, when he bungled it and it really left his hind legs in the hurdle, he seemed to be going up and down on the spot. And then as soon as Castle Robin came alongside Port Storm, they properly rallied up to the straight and reduced that winning margin.
Yeah.
And look at the result:
Last
25
day-
to 1, beat 50 to 1, beat 14. It was a wide open race, and that proves it.
Yeah, what happened last time, Barry?
Now, last day, Port Storm up in Scotland, he traded at 240 and running before he ran out of winner. It was the same sort of style. He seems to get himself out of his ground, and then he's running on again at the finish. So he's done that again today, I suppose. But the in-running story of the race, Shantang matched at 2.6, Bob Hope or No Hope 2.6, 2.3 Port Storm, and 2.3 Exploiteur. So yeah, it was an exciting race, although the winning distance at the finish wouldn't suggest that. But from an running point of view, it certainly was. Remember, Ramesses Dete won this race last year, and again, it was a real slog like that.
I don't think we've seen anything to trouble the Mullins and Elliott battalion that will be coming over for the Albert Bartlett. Yeah, not entered. There you are. And again, Shantang, he's fallen in a hole from the second last, but the way he travelled up, back at 2 mile 4, 2 mile 5, I was just seeing if he was EBF qualified for the Imperial Cup Day just before Cheltenham. I don't think he is, but I think after an F and a P, Emma Lavelle will be pretty happy with that.
He's the horse I would take out of the race, I think. He travelled the best of any horse in the contest for a long period of time. Clearly didn't get home. Maybe a drop back and trip, better ground as well, I think, for Shantang. And he's definitely one for the tracker.
Some very nice young horses then for the future. Rated 128 only, though, the Cobb. The handicapper takes that literally. Look at a mark of 140 now. Going to be up against the big boys. Will he cope? Let us know. Let us know how many cheers you gave that at home. Some great shouts from our viewers then this afternoon in what was, according to Tom Collins, the most competitive race of the current jump season thus far. We must go back to Lingfield. The sand dunes await us for the next race there. Let's get up the market and we'll have a little look at who's hot. And more importantly, Barry Orr, who's not.
Yeah, it's a tasty little race. Pirate King's your favourite at 218 at the moment. 3.5 Midnight Legacy. Hydroplane 8478. Renaudot and Just a Man's 50 rag. But yeah, I thought Pirate King might struggle off top weight here, 96. The horse I liked with Midnight Legacy, Alan King's horse with Martin Harley, just returning from injury, Martin Harley. But they did his wind after he was beaten a long way by Duffel Coat in a juvenile hurl. He ran back here under Megan Nichols recently and ran and stayed on well. I think it's interesting that they're going for another flat handicap for him on the all-weather, given his mark of 88. And although there has been money for him, I think we're just going to have 50 quid on him in the win. Just a straight-up win here, Enzo. 3.85 around that mark. Happy to be a price taker here. Or sorry, Tom.
I was going to say, once again, you've got the secretary and the boss there. Enzo's delighted that you think it's him that's doing it.
I'm loving this role.
The thing was, if you've been watching the show this afternoon, you were answering as if you were actually in control there. The fickle man you are. Unbelievable scenes. So it's Midnight Legacy for the old firm of Martin Harley and Alan King. Yeah, Martin Harley coming back. He's been all over the place, Martin Harley, hasn't he? Went down under, of course, went to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Did well in Hong Kong. Did a couple of big winners down in Australia. Came back, was riding out of John Gosden's. I know that before he had an injury. Got on some okay horses for
He
John.
rode Magician, didn't he? Did he ride Magician?
He did.
Yeah.
He did in the Cumberland Lodge. And it all went. It was a couple of short ones that were just didn't go his way at John's. I think we'll say that. But Martin Harley, top jockey. I think the ground has gone for him over hurdles, Barry. That's probably why they're back here. But yeah, if you think he's going to come on for that wind run, that wind operation run last time, then he's fancying the market as well. Pirate King is a horse that I was expecting to add to his tally.
It didn't quite work out last week. I thought he got racing too early last week.
He definitely went a bit too soon.
Today.
Yeah,
he ended up on the inside, didn't he? And they set the race up for My 7 down the outer.
That's it. Who was a progressive horse in the Kisfords.
We'll watch that race and think I'm going to play this horse a bit later today.
It's the Pirate for me. I think he'll plunder the loop
pace,
today,
isn't he? For these, I think these are real stayers, aren't they? Midnight Legacy.
The key thing with these all-weather horses is dropping in grade. It's huge.
Yeah.
And don't let the weight put you off. I don't think the fact that they've probably looked at this and thought, when Hydroplane has been weak in the market, another coming back from hurdles.
Ex-Prescott horse, wasn't he? Hydroplane?
Yeah. Yes, indeed. More to come over hurdles, I think. For him. Interesting, he's back on the other weather because he's a horse that didn't mind the ground, I don't think. But with Just a Man looking, another horse back from hurdling, looking like he might have class issues off that handicap mark. Renaudot, the course and distance winner, along with Pirate King, 13-2, a bit more exposed, isn't he? I thought the Pirate would probably take this, but yeah, Midnight would be the one I would worry about, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult race because I know there's 5 in here and the market suggests it's only a 2-runner race, but there are slight negatives about the 2 at the top of the market. I mean, Pirate King, yes, is probably the quickest horse of the race, probably the best, definitely the best horse in the race on ratings, and has got the best recent form. But Charlie Fellows is 0 for 20 with his last 20 runners, hasn't had a winner for 31 days for Pirate King. That's a slight negative, although I do think he's the most likely winner, as the market suggests. I think the price is about right, about evens. And Midnight's Legacy came from, there was money for him last time, first time back off a wind up, which I never understand. Money first time back off a wind up doesn't make any sense. Second time back off a wind up is an angle that people like to use, and I mean it's worked with many horses.
Yeah.
But that run last time was his first start on the all-weather. He didn't really produce a very good effort. Finished 6th from 9 behind Ferzig. Yes, maybe because of the wind up and the break that had its effects, but the all-weather unknown puts me off that one, so it's not a race I'd want to be punting in, although I do think the favourite will win.
You mentioned Ferzig there, the horse of Richard Fahey's that beat Midnight's there. They're just starting to think about going into the stalls if you want to get your trades on. Pirate King gave him £1 and just got done by him, and what we didn't think were ideal tactics, whereas Midnight Legacy, although back off a wind up, was getting plenty of weight for him. So I don't know. He's got to need to have come on quite a lot for that wind up, I think. But Pirate King, yeah, he was burnt last time, wasn't he? When they absolutely hammered him in the markets. They're not, are you going back in with him? Who's going to lead
Hammer him again?
They're hammering him again, Barry, are they? Is that even?
Yeah, he's into odds on now. He's
Right.
196 now, Dave. Yeah, so he's really well supported. Pace angle is probably Hydroplane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hydroplane used to front run when Prescott had him, didn't he? I think they might send him on, Morris.
You do?
Yeah.
Morris, yeah, absolutely. He's having another really good winter, Luke Morris, isn't he?
Doing all right, isn't he?
Yeah, he's so good at when
Tell
the
you,
horse
rides,
is about to go
rides
past
anything.
him. It's
Rides
just
every race.
intimidating.
Yeah.
They are in, though. Okay, for the 3 o'clock. I've got some Shiskin quotes coming in, which are quite interesting, actually, from David Carr at the track. Lee Motter said up there for us well on track today.
Odds on the Pirate.
Let's go back to Lingfield, though, before I give those to you. So, Pirate.
Pirate.
But no bet.
Barry taking him on with Midnight's Legacy. Good luck wherever you're playing in the 3 o'clock at Lingers.
Here we go, 1.5 miles, so just over a lap of the track. 5 runners break away for this handicap contest. Who's going to make the running? We think Hydroplane might go forward. He is. Midnight's Legacy back for me. Small Break is on the inside in second place. Renardo is in third place under PJ McDonald. Pirate King, I think, is going to be played late today. He's got speed. Kieran Schumacher maybe hit the front too early last week. He's going to hold him up. And company with the outsider, Just the Man, who's a massive price here under Adam McNamara. Horse has been jumping as well. Quite a few of these have been over hurdles before. Hydroplane leads them. He's one of them. He's out in front. This ex-Mark Prescott horse who rattled up a quick hat-trick back in 2019. Can he get back to winning ways under Luke Morris, who rode him to all 3 of those wins 2 years ago? So Hydroplane leading to Renardo, who's going to race in second place up on the outside. He's a 3-time course of distance winner, Renardo, so he likes it here at Lingfield. Midnight's Legacy for Alan King, who of course has got a big runner coming up, hasn't he? Canelo in the Sky Bet Chase. Could be a big half hour for the yard. Behind those, Pirate King up on the outside for Kieran Schumacher. He doesn't want to get him boxed in, so he's got plenty of clear sailing on the outside. And Just the Man is the back marker. Early stages, not really much happening, I don't think, Dave.
No, they've just steadied it. It's what they do at Lingfield, isn't it? On the far side, they get their positions, they steady it up, of course, and then they do that kick as they're coming down on that downhill slide. I'd be pretty happy that Pirate's in the right place, Tom.
Yeah, I think he's in the perfect position, isn't he? He's ready to come for with a wide move, which we've already seen to great effect at Lingfield today and in every meeting at Lingfield.
Midnight Legacy looks like he wants to just go a little bit faster to my eye.
And also in a pocket, which could present a problem for Martin Harley.
You don't want to go inside off that home bend at Lingfield. 9 times out of 10, something will come and swoop, as we saw in our previous race. Tony Ennis, they're around about the 3 furlong mark.
They are. Hydroplane still doing it nicely in front. Renardo's in second. Midnight's Legacy is in that pocket now, isn't he? On the inside. 1 out, 1 back is the favourite. Pirate King, the 2-tone blue, and the back marker is the grey Just the Man. Down the side at Lingfield. This is when you want to get into position now to make your attack. Hydroplane niggled along. Renardo is alongside in second place. He's just moving his arms, isn't he, on Pirate King as well, Kieran Schumacher. Midnight Legacy's going well, but he's caught in that pocket, that Lingfield pocket on the inside, turning for home. Renardo and Hydroplane. Now he's coming, Midnight Legacy.
Go on, Martin.
Here he comes, Martin Harley. Here comes Pirate King to the outside.
I want to be where Pirate is, I've got to say.
For the shoe, down the outside, Kieran Schumacher.
Through Martin.
Midnight's Legacy's on the fence. Pirate King is down
Go
the
on,
outside.
the Pirate.
He's
Here
trying to
comes
run
the
on.
plunder.
Here comes the Pirate King. The favourites hit the front now. So
Yeah,
Midnight
he's got
Legacy in second. And Pirate King, he's not going to make the same mistake twice. Kieran Schumacher, he gets it spot on today. Beats Midnight Legacy by about a neck or half a length, and they're clear of the others. I think Hydroplane got back up to tip out Renardo for third place.
That is
Good ride, Kieran Schumacher. He learned 7 days
learned.
ago, David.
Isn't that Lingfield
You
all
call
over
the
that
right
race?
Enzo, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
Lingfield
Right.
all over. Horse came out the inside, probably traded short in running.
He was that horse on the inside last week, wasn't
Exactly.
he? When Thursday came that way, and my 7 swept past them both.
You've got to mark up Midnight
Evans
Legacy
Midnight
there.
Legacy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Evans had hit when he shot up through the inside
Yeah.
that time, and he looked like he was going clear.
I thought he was going better. I thought he was going better.
It's almost a carbon copy of our 220 racing at Swiss Pride. You've got no choice when you come on that inside. You lose a length if you veer right out to the middle. Martin knows he's not gone to the far rail. He knows he's in trouble, I think. The fact he's come back, Midnight Legacy, you'd have to be happy with that. Look, they maybe lost his length with this horse, I think.
I think it's fair to say the second's probably the best horse at the weights in this race. So he's gone the shortest route, which is obviously a plus, but then at the same time he's gone up the deeper inside, the slower inside, and he's only been beaten, a neck at the line by a decent horse in Pirate King, rated
Pirate
96.
King's race fit, isn't he?
Exactly, and second time off a wind up for the second. I wouldn't be giving up on Midnight's Legacy at all.
Let's get the story of the race then with Barry. So what is fascinating, Barry, with Lingfield is, in particular at Lingfield, when a horse goes clear on the inside, do the wily in running, the experienced in running punters know not to fall for that?
I honestly can't answer that, Dave. I wouldn't watch enough of Lingfield to be able to, but I know that he hit evens in running, and it probably looked the right price when he seemed to be shooting clear up the inside. He got the solo. You guys were saying that he was caught in the pocket, but they did come wide off the bend. But Enzo called it right. He said the winner would be delivered late, and that's exactly what happened. Story of the race, Hydroplane hit a low at 3.55, would you believe?
Really?
Renard, Renard do.
He wants for the half mile, doesn't he?
Renard do hit a low of 3.0, which is 2-1. And Midnight Legacy hit evens. The only one that didn't trade low and won him was the Rag of the Field, who had a BSP of 60, just a man.
The conclusion to that, in the tail of the story, they don't fall. I mean, that was, they don't really know, do they? Because, I don't know, I'm really surprised about that. There was a moment when Hydroplane started attacking. That must have been when he went low.
Yeah.
Renardier went with him. That must have been when he went low.
There's a really good in-running betting angle, which is at Lingfield and Wolverhampton especially, which is to lay horses that go up the inside because they're going to undoubtedly trade a lot shorter than they should. And obviously they're not going to lose all the time, but 9 times out of 10 they're going to be passed by something on the outside. And 2, laying a front runner in a staying contest because they're going to be chopped and then get outpaced.
I think he's lining up Hydroplane for something over hurdles. Ian Williams, do you think?
Oh yeah, it looks the type, like, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He bumped into one last time, didn't he? Over hurdles. I think
he's going to win a race over hurdles somewhere.
Bushy Part. Remember Bushy Part?
Oh yeah.
The ridiculously well handicapped Bushy Part. So yeah, Ian Williams, one of the best trainers out there.
He'll have a race in mind now, wouldn't he, for Hydroplane? Ian Williams.
He's so good at finding the right races for his horses, Ian Williams. And really enjoyed the 2 races we've had at Lingfield. One more to come, the 3:35. But we must go back up to Donny. It's time for the Sky Bet. It is one of the handicaps of the new year so far. Barry, we were thinking that Captain Orr was going to be a shorty. What price is he? Will he even go off Fav?
He's 5.7 at the moment, Dave. It looks like he will go off Fav unless they come significantly for Musical Slave. But it's such a mature market now at this stage. Nearly £600,000 matching it. 1 for the team is 7.4. 8 Canelo, and Boldmere, another horse that was well supported in the races, into 10. The horse I like in it is Butcher Said for Ollie Murphy. Yeah, he's the Rag of the Field. Well, now he's into 20 actually now, but obviously he was behind the third to the big breakaway in Cheltenham in November. Then they went to the Betfair Rehearsal Chase up in Newcastle, where he was 14 lengths off York Hill. There's a run a couple of years back when he was a novice hurler behind Ramesses de Taille in Cheltenham in 2019. Yeah, on heavy ground. When he stayed on well that day, he was given £8 to Ramesses de Taille as well. Just reading Ollie Murphy's blog on Betfair as well, he says he's freshened him up. He thinks he has the horse in good shape. So I just thought at the price I was going to chance him in the win and place market, the Butcher Said. So again, I'm happy to take a price here. I'm going to have 25 quid on in the win. And again, I'm going to select 4 places here. So it's an additional place outside of the standard 3-place terms. So 4 places, and have 25 quid in the place market as well, 4 places. So yeah, just going to oppose a couple at the head of the market with a chance a bit of a pricey one in the race.
Fair play, Barry. Then siding with Betfair ambassador Ollie Murphy's The Butcher's Said. Yeah, Barry, of course, showcasing the exchange today for you on every race and playing for charity. The Borough 7 it's been throughout January, done really well for them. Transfer coming their way. Happy days. So The Butcher's Said. I'll tell you what, this is a big trends race. You know, Kevin Morley does his column every Saturday. We make reference to that a lot on the show. And I'm lucky enough to get that email on the Tuesday. And I like to kind of look how you apply them and kind of guess what Kevin might be going for. Canelo is the top of his list. This is a strong trends race. The last 8 runnings, there's a lot of 8 of 8s and 7 of 8s. Sometimes you get the races off Kevin, and you have to kind of look at them and think maybe not one for the trends. It knocks out Cap de Nord. It knocks out Musical Slave. It knocks out Mr. Malarkey, who's too high in the handicap. Give me a copper. Boldmere, not quite the class angle.
What about one for the team? Is he?
One for the team is in there. He's had just the 3 starts.
He's interesting, isn't he? I think
he's down from Grade 1, isn't he, in the Corto Star, where he looked like he wanted a proper trip. He's won on soft in his bumper, good ground over hurdles. I had him done as maybe something like the 4 Mile or the Ultima or something like that. Nick Williams' horses are back in form. And they were a little bit slow over the November-December period. They're definitely coming good, I think. Tom Scudamore on. He's well fancied, isn't he? You like him in this. You've deserted your old friend Canelo.
I know, who did me such a good turn on this show on
the Roland Merrick on Boxing Day.
Really fancied giving a lovely rub by Tom Bellamy.
Again, the fickleness of you there.
Jump ship, haven't I?
You have one of your best days of the season and you jump ship, but of course it's quite a clever thing to do not to come to attach to horses. I've gone on to Canelo because I think that the softer ground will sway the difference between him and Cap du Nord, who of course second to Royal Pagaille last time. We thought he was going to be a hot pot for this, but the ground is interesting. Tom Collins, a selection from you.
Yeah, well, I think there's two interesting bets in here. One's Captain Ord at 4-1 now. I think the drift on Captain Ord makes him now a bet. He's obviously the clear form angle. We've looked at the form throughout this show so far with Royal Pagaille and the Canelo piece of form at Newbury. And then Boldmere at a bigger price. Yes, he may not be the class angle, but this horse, he's only had 13 starts under rules, only 7 starts over fences, won 2 of them. Last time he got beat by Rocky's Treasure, but that was on good soft ground. I think he really needs a test, Boldmere. He's not the best of jumpers, but he's a good stayer.
Well, let me talk to you about the ground. We've had the quotes coming in from Shishkin, as I promised you earlier on the show. The two interesting things to say with this race in mind is that Nico suggests that the ground was still hard work. It felt like a test, he said. So despite the fact that Shishkin has pretty much blown up the clock in the Lightning Novice Chase, the first chase on the day, the only chase they've had so far, he still says, don't be surprised if it's hard work in this, basically. Sticking with Shishkin, got plenty of time now to take on any of Willie Mullins' horse at Cheltenham. It should be a fascinating clash between him and Ennis. That's what he's referring to. Ari the jumping left. Nico told Lee Motta, said on track, that's just him. He can do it either way. It was just what Shishkin is. He said he can race a bit behind the bridle. But the moment he heard John Joe O'Neill's horse, Eldorado Allen, get a slap, that's when he took off. And isn't that interesting? In the run, that's when he really looked to attack those fences. He was perfect.
It's like he went from third gear and slightly, messing about to fifth gear. Well, probably not fifth gear. Fifth gear, maybe if he has 7 gears. This horse has a huge engine. And he really picked up the bridle and galloped away from Eldorado Allen. Interesting what he said about the jumping left, and that's just what he does. Isn't that what they said about Altior originally as well? Like the comparisons between the two mentality and characteristics are there. I think Shishkin's going to be as good as Altior, if not better as well. I think he's like a really good horse, really, really good horse.
The great thing about the quotes that we get in here, sorry, Bo, just quickly, the great thing that we said about the Racing Post quotes is you'll see them on the television in the heat of the moment when these jockeys come off and the trainers are there as well. But of course, if you remember at the minute, the way that COVID is set up on the race courses, they've now spoken to the owners for the cadets to have time to process it. If you think about what he said there about when John Joe O'Neill gave him a slap down the neck, then he took off. You remember when he looked beat, when he got hampered in the Supreme? He went a huge spike, didn't he, in the Betfair market? This is I love that about that quote. This is a horse that when he really knows that he's got to get going, all right, I'm ready to go. That's different class, very, very rare jewel that Shishkin is. Barry.
I was just going to say that, Shishkin's time was 11 seconds faster than Iblio's over the same course and distance the day previous. 11 seconds. Now, he carried 11 stone 5, Shishkin. Iblio carried 11 stone 12. So
he's
7
no slouch either, is he, Iblio? He's no mug.
Iblio is a lovely horse.
147. He's probably mid 150s now, following the win yesterday.
He's in the champion chase, Iblio, and the Ryanair as well, isn't he? And
11 seconds. So.
Wow.
I didn't look at the section list for that Iblio race, but they really hit the line quite hard as well.
He jumped well yesterday, Iblio, another Felicia Williams horse that's coming into Cheltenham at just the right time. I could genuinely see him running well. If I'd like to see him go for the Ryanair personally. Was it ASO they've had run one in that, haven't they? Horse again coming up through the handicap ranks, all to play for at Cheltenham. Okay, so we are, around about 7 odd minutes away from the Sky Bet. It looks like Captain Orr, they're coming back in for him, Barry. They're not so worried about the ground.
He's 5.7, Dave. It's a very, very open betting heat and a very good betting heat as well. Nearly £800,000 matched now at this stage. 8-1 Musical Slave. He's on the slide a bit. One for the team, come in for a bit of support, is a 5-1 chance now. Canelo, the other JP horse, same as Musical Slave, is into 9.8. 8.2 Boldmere continues to get significant support. That horse with Sean Bone in the plate, and give me a copper, a little bit friendless in the market, but really good betting heat. 9-2 to field at the moment on the exchange. Yeah,
one for the team's interesting, isn't he? I mean, Tom Scudamore, he's been the Saturday Chase king, isn't he, this season? Cloth Cap, Royal Pagaille, Sky Pirate.
And there's a big one in this, chap. You thought it was going to be handicapped.
He was last of 5, wasn't he, though, in that race at Kempston? We should make that point.
He got outpaced quite a long way out, but like I say, Nick's horses, they think he's turned the corner. He's the one that I've regretted not going with.
I've gone with him in the end.
Canelo, I think, will be there or thereabouts.
Thrifty. Why is Canelo so weak? Why is he 10-1 on the exchange?
Huge money for Boldmere, isn't there? It's
nearly
favourite.
Into 6.8 now.
Nearly
collapsed.
favourite.
The last time I spoke to you 2 seconds ago, he was 8.2. He's 6.6 now. And it looks like he could be challenging Captain Nord for favouritism.
When this chap
unless
got
the people
beaten
start selling it back.
at Doncaster last time, Barry, Paul Keeley was, to say he was bullish, and he just didn't quite find. You think the softer ground TC will see the real Boldmere today?
Yeah, he really likes to test Boldmere. He will be finishing well at the line compared to the others. His jumping is the only question mark. He can be a bit low at his fences, so keep an eye on that. But I thought at his original price this morning, which was like 14 or 16 to 1, he was a great bet. Not now. I would be laying off at 6 to 1.
Go on, Barry.
Too short, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you're going to have people doing that. That's what I was going to say. You'll have people selling back their bets into the market. He's been matched around the 20 to 1 mark on the exchange. It's probably a false price now to think he's a 5 to 1 chance to win this race.
He's favourite, isn't he? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's around that. The Butcher said the horse that I back to 20 is into 13, so there's plenty of money for him as well by the looks of it.
He is also in, if you narrow down Kevin Morley's trends, as I was getting to, the Butcher said he's in there. He's a horse that doesn't seem to want to get to the front too soon, Barry.
Wears a hood, isn't he? One of your favourite hooded horses.
Yeah, he's a hood and a tongue tie just for good measure. So
I won't be going near him. Yeah, I won't be going near him. Yeah, but again,
I don't know. Sometimes you can coax these monkeys along in these stay-in races, and if they're enjoying the ground, they get into a nice rhythm, they can outrun their price.
The McNeil family, the owners, having another great season as well, aren't they? So this will be the big prize for him. Great to see Ollie Murphy get another big Saturday winner. Of course, got a nice team going into Cheltenham, no doubt. Give Me a Copper's horse we should talk about, Barry. I saw some pretty bullish. I mean, they're always bullish about Give Me a Copper, aren't they, the Nichols team?
Well, he's always bullish, full stop, Paul Nichols. He says in his piece that Give Me a Copper is in serious order at the moment, which is key to his performance. When the horse is right, he's a good horse. So he reports that he's really on good terms with himself. He's going to run his race, isn't he? He's an 11-year-old now, racing off 149. He hasn't many secrets from the handicapper, but hey, Paul runs them and he'll be thereabouts.
Up £3, of course, are being touched off by, who was
Rocky's Treasure.
Rocky's Treasure, of course, went ahead of Boldmere last
and he's
time.
another one having his second run off the back of a wind-up.
Yeah, I Right is the other one that's solid on the trend, solid in the market as well, and the lovable I Right and all-weather bumper, probably just to keep him exactly where they want him. Harriet Graham, of course, remember he ran such a good race, didn't he, behind Cloth Cap, something of a forgotten horse in the Ladbrokes Trophy. Seems like a long time ago now, doesn't it? At Newbury, going for the Grand National, hopefully Cloth Cap. They're looking for a boost there, but one for the team. Solid for Enzo. TC, remind me, Boldmere?
Yeah, Boldmere at the early prices. I think Captain Orr is probably the most likely winner, but Boldmere was the value.
Who would have thought that Captain Orr would be going off at this sort of price when you saw the markets go up on the sort of late Monday, Tuesday?
I really do think he's a bet in here, even if it's just a saver. The Betfair Exchange SP of 5.9. Well, at the moment, let's say that is the SP. I think that's a real good bet, just based on the form. He's the horse to beat, isn't he? And that price represents value for a saver if you fancy something at bigger odds.
I'll tell you what, he's going to get
Enzo, how would you feel if he gets beaten out of sight in this race, Captain Orr? How do you feel about Roper Guy then?
Yeah, it wouldn't be a great thing to see, I don't think. I would be disappointed if he gets beaten out of sight.
He's going to get some assistance
from
the saddle, though, Barry.
But it wouldn't temper your enthusiasm, would it?
No, I think Roper Gull, I think he's proved himself already, I think, as the big hope in this country for the Gold Cup.
The excuses are already in. It's like
I heard that remark, Dave, about the jockey. That didn't go unnoticed.
Jack Tudor, of course, Barry's big man on
man.
Captain Orr. Jack Tudor, the next champion in waiting, isn't he? OK, so look, the 8-year-old, Captain Orr, are you on him? We'll try and get some socials before our last race at Lingfield, the 3:35. We're coming to the business end here on Racing Post Live. Myself, Dave Orton, Tony Ennis, Tom Collins and Barry Orr from Betfair. We've loved this afternoon. It's been absolutely fantastic. What's been your highlight? Let us know. Cheltenham Bankers, we've tried to give a few there for you along the way. Still, we're going to learn so much more next Saturday at Dublin. We're thinking the Cotswold Chase and the Cleve Hurdle are abandoned from Cheltenham today. That's probably going to Sandown as well. So it'll be another long wait next week, won't it, for a sizzling Saturday to come. Then we go to Newbury for the Game Spirit, of course, and the Betfair Handicap Hurdle, Barry. It's worth so much money that I cannot wait for it.
125 grand to the winner. The UK's richest handicap hurl, the Betfair Hurl, 13th of February on Betfair Super Saturday in Newbury. Yeah, and then the following Saturday, we also sponsored the Grade 1 Betfair Ascot Chase. So, yeah, that 5-week period from the 13th of February to the 13th of March, the last Saturday before Cheltenham. There's some cracking racing and, yeah, everything for us builds up to the festival. We have a great offer this year that we'll mention nearer the time, but it kicks off on that Saturday, the 13th of February, Betfair Super Saturday.
Betfair Super Saturday will be here. Don't worry about that. Giving you all the real-time analysis and reaction here on RP Live. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube and Facebook Live as well. Happy days. Great to have you along. Still get your social media comments in. 2 races to go. It's time for the big one. They're lining up. It looks like the butcher's said Barry's selection is going to observe from rear. Musical Slave, we haven't really given him too much of a mention.
Back during the week, wasn't he?
Sneaky JP second colours.
Though. He can hit one. Musical Slave.
Will hit one. He is jumping his
put away
ropey.
Since an eye-catching run at Newbury, probably for a big prize. Philip Hobbs' is back in form.
Probably the best handicapped horse in the race. He just can't jump, so that's what you take. Your risks are.
Woody Holson, is he? Just cannot jump.
Yeah, that's literally it.
They're off and running then. Mr. Malarkey just about going off in front, Enzo.
Yeah, this is it. The Sky Bet Handicap Chase, formerly the Great Yorkshire Chase listed race, Class 1. 3 miles and 3 yards now, the extra yardage. The non-runners, York Hill and Guitar Pete, leaves a field of 11. They've got 18 fences to take. The first of them comes up after the little dogleg turn over on the far side. The first is a plain one. Up front, the leader is Mr. Malarkey and John Joe O'Neill Jr. leading up to one for the team who's very handy for Tom Scudamore. Right, we thought would be up there, is up there. Share a second place. Very wide is the Doncaster specialist, Rocky's Treasure, as they come towards the first. One for the team, no, not great, and a mistake back in the field.
Jumped right off the back of one for the team.
You mentioned that, Tom. Is that he's going to need to recover
looking to stay on.
Yeah, it was a great set. I don't think it was actually him that made a mistake. He just jumped into the back of one for the team. He made a bad blunder in front of him.
Yeah, one for the team was slow, and he came back in his lap, didn't he?
Just a fourth chase start, of course. This for one for the team. This race used to go to lightly raced types. I think 6 of the last 8 have had at least 15 races over fences so far. So more hardened types. Here we go then. Rocky's Treasure right out wide, Enzo.
Yeah, very wide. Rocky's over that fence. Give Me a Copper's just inside of him. More towards the inside then, we have in a very pale colours Taking Risks is there with Give Me a Copper is in the red colours. Further back, Canelo I thought settled quite nicely. Cap du Nord likewise is put away in midfield at this stage. The Butcher said is being held up towards the back. Musical Slave is in that rear grip. Then a gap back of 4 lengths to find Boldmere after that bad fortune at one of the earlier fences. He's now been careful over that one as well. Boldmere's jumping, looks to have gone to pieces. He gets reminders. Must be a huge price on the run.
Isn't he?
Yeah, lost all confidence by the looks of it.
Out to 75, Enzo.
I put another 0 on that, Barry, and I might not even back him then.
Right has now gone to the front. Nice. He's a good jumper, Right, isn't he? Very solid over the fences. He's up there with Mr. Malarkey. One for the team, needs to get his confidence back after that mistake.
You think he could be a national horse down the line,
Right,
He's
definitely,
that sort of likeable. He's going to hold his mark, isn't he?
Yeah. I think he jumped around Aintree, no problem. On the outside is Rocky's Treasure, who does like it here at Doncaster. Then Give Me a Copper, Taking Risks. Cap du Nord is there. Nice position for Canelo, still held up. Musical Slave, the 2 McManus runners are almost holding hands. They're side by side, 4 lengths back to the Butcher said, who's normally held up. The hooded, the Butcher said. Musical Slave, bit iffy over that one on the inside there.
He's called this so far, and the iffy jumpers are being found out. Yeah, there's no hiding place at the moment, I don't think.
No, one for the team, I thought, not been brilliant, but he's still there on the inside in 3rd place. The leader, though, Mr. Malarkey for the outer form, Tizard Yard. Right is 2nd, one for the team is 3rd. 4th place, Taking Risks, who's snuck into it. Then comes Give Me a Copper from Cap du Nord, Rocky's Treasure, Canelo, Musical Slave, and the Butcher said. Boldmere, has he been pulled up? I think he might have been. Yeah.
Boldmere falling out the back of the telly then, unfortunately, if you're with that one.
Water jump next.
Cap du Nord and one for the team, and Canelo, the big market players. It's just sort of fiddling, aren't they?
Yeah, one for the team. I've not been impressed by him. No. I don't think Tom Scudamore's absolutely overly enamoured.
Experience is a massive thing. They've got him on the inside as well, haven't they? So he's just getting crowded a little bit.
I'm not happy with one for the team at all. His jumping appears to be defected. Right's jumping boldly. He leads to Give Me a Copper. Mr. Malarkey Taking Risks. Rocky's Treasure. How wide does Dave Bass want to go here? Captain Nor is next. Then Canelo does jump well.
Yeah, that's a lovely jump by Canelo.
He's the one who's going well, Canelo.
Excited here. You've jumped off him. You know what's going to happen. Egg on Face Man coming up.
Captain Nor's going well as well. There is the Royal Pagal form. The 2 of them are going really well. Both stalking. I'd imagine, Barry, they're the favourites, are they now? Captain Nor and Canelo?
There's not a whole lot between them. Just favoured is Captain Nor at 3.9, 5.1 Canelo, 7.8 Right, 9 the Butcher said, and it's 12 Musical Slave. He's made plenty of mistakes.
Yeah, Butcher said he's catching my eye, Barry. I'm not surprised he's come right in as well. He's just popping away, and now he's trying to get that cover as well. The hooded, the Butcher said. According to your map, where are we? 5 out?
We've just taken that one on the side. We've still got a few more left to jump. Yeah, I think that was the open ditch, wasn't it? They're going to turn back towards the 5th from home next. As you say, it's Mr. Malarkey in front to Right. I've lost where I'm in the map. I'm getting so excited. Taking Risks is 3rd.
One didn't swerve the question in fairness, which I thought he was odds on to do.
One for the team is 4th. And then behind one for the team, Captain Nor's going really well, isn't he? Jack Tudor.
Give me a copper rowing away.
Musical Slave on the flat. He comes back into it, doesn't he? And then he hits a fence.
Yeah, he's well handicapped. He's got a big engine. Just here we go, another fence.
This is the fifth
And
last on the side.
another mistake where he drags his hind legs
Yeah,
through
he
it.
does the same mistake, doesn't he? Musical Slave every
Just
time.
need Canelo to be handing in there, but Captain Orr now looks the one, doesn't he?
I Right's coming back into it. One for the team,
He's
still
still-
there, isn't he? Still hanging around.
This
one
is
for
that
the team.
tricky fifth
This
last.
is 5 out now. I Right, Mr. Malarkey. One for the team's right back in this, Tom Skoo. Then Captain Nor, then taking risks.
The butcher
Canelo
set's
just
going
nibbled.
The
very
butcher
nicely.
said, aye, Barry, you're getting excited now.
He's trading a 5-2. I wouldn't mind
Woo!
selling some back in running, to tell you the truth. But it looks like the 4 places money could be safe. Touch wood, touch plenty
Oh,
of wood.
Musical
but-
Slave, one mistake too many.
Musical Slave
Musical
has
Slave's
gone.
gone. Kidney
Canelo,
Johnson's on
such
the
a
set.
strong traveller. He's now at it. One for the team sticking in there, but he's at it as well. It's all about the butcher said and Captain Orr, I think, guys.
268, the butcher said.
I think the Captain Nor would be the one I want to be on there. Captain
Come on,
Nor the
Canelo,
inside.
rally.
I Right leading. Captain Nor going second now. Taking risk is third. The butcher said, what will he find? Don't think he's going to find much.
Find nothing.
Then comes Canelo, does stay on, but it's still I Right in front, and they're going to catch this front runner. He still leads. Captain Nor looks a danger, though,
Yeah.
for Jack Tudor. Taking risks is third. I Right from Captain Nor over that fence in the straight. Here comes Captain Nor now to tackle him.
There's a
but
lot
on
of
the
weight
inside,
between them, guys, nearly a stone.
Taking risk is running a
Taking
cracker.
risks on a
He
screamer.
stays strongly taking risks, isn't he?
I Right's the one
I'd
to
love
catch,
to
though.
see I Right win this.
I Right then at this
Look at
fence.
Canelo.
2 out.
Oh, he made a mistake, Captain Nor. That
Oh,
was
and
costly.
Canelo.
Canelo a mistake as well, down on his nose. I Right's galloping on strongly to taking risks. Captain Nor's going to try again for Jack Tudor. He's not out of this yet.
One
the cap.
jump, this is it.
Here's the last.
Canelo,
I Right.
I'll tell you what,
Nor
Captain
needs
Nor's
to fly
flying,
it.
isn't he?
He's running on Captain Nor, but I think I Right.
The
Taking
risks.
risks, he's
Taking
going to win it on the
risks.
outside.
Oh,
The
the red sail!
The old
Unbelievable
boy,
scenes.
I Right trying to come back, taking risks, is the winner of the Sky Bet Chase. Extraordinary.
Wow.
One we didn't consider. Sean Quinlan, the veteran, Nicky Richards, I Right second, Captain Nor jumping let him down third, Canelo, similar comments fourth.
Oh, I guess if you're Sandy Thompson and you're watching this Yorkill, you'd have seen the injury earlier that forced him to miss this. Have we seen the last of Yorkill, of course, who slammed him in the rehearsal chase last time at Newcastle? There was 6.5 lengths between them, taking risks. He was due to run at air, I think, guys, wasn't he, in an abandoned meeting. He's come here. Sean Quinlan, take a bow, because he didn't look like he was really giving him everything, and then right at the end, poor old I Right, if you're on I Right,
Looked like all the way,
agonising
didn't he?
defeat. Yeah.
Captain Nor just hit those last two, didn't he?
Experience
I thought he ran a
everything
great
in
race,
that
that
race,
guy.
I think.
I'm not put off Royal Pagal. I think it was a fair enough
Well.
run from the cap.
Yeah, you're happy with the Rob.
I'm okay with it, yeah.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. I mean, Right, he was tanking TC, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Still for home.
And it looked like he was going to fight back against taking risks in the straight, but taking risks just got the job done. Second time off after wind surgery, so people following that angle would have got the big odds. And he's also just become the oldest winner of the race. There are two 11-year-olds that have won this race. He's a
Scottish
12-year-old
wasn't he?
and has become the oldest.
Great
winner.
race.
Fair play. Was a
brilliant
great
race.
race. Really exciting. Really enjoyed that home straight. Canelo's jumping rather let him down, I think. He's run on really, really well for fourth. He might be a Scottish national horse.
Yeah, I think he will.
Betfair SP is 63 for the winner. He hit a high of 100 in running. I Right hit a low of 1.20, which is 5-1 on. Captain Nord 11-10. And the butcher said, who wasn't even placed at the finish, he found absolutely nothing. It's a hood, a tongue tie, and anything else they can put on that horse to see what he can find. He hit a low at 2.52, which I believe 6-4. If I had
6-4 the
fast
butcher.
fingers, if I was sitting over at that desk, I would have been getting out of my bed long before he hit 6-4.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great shout though, Barry, because to go that short again.
He tanks, doesn't he, the butcher?
He
said?
lulled
Looks
a lot of people in there, but again, it's just the moment you get at him. Very interesting indeed. Where did you go in the Sky Bet then? Where does taking risk now go? Probably up to air, someone like that. The oldest winner of the race, you said, TC. Thanks for that. Nicky Richards had 3 runners in the past 10 years. 2 of them have placed, 1 now over the line.
He would have had Guitar Pete when we raced as well, wouldn't
Yeah.
he, Nicky? A few people fancied, but I'm disappointed though that horse has won that race.
Let's get to a social comment. Let's see if we've got some reaction coming up. Oh, taking risks, says Thomas Irish HD, who is having the day of his life out there. Thomas, fair play. Was it the Cobb as well? I think it was, wasn't it? What a day, 14-1. Aye. Crack the beers, my friend.
I was going to say
Time
beers
sit
on
back and
Thomas.
enjoy lockdown. Oh, you don't want to be going anywhere. Happy days. That's a right old double, that, isn't it? We're just watching the final fence back. Right. Oh, man. And proper nearly horse in these big handicaps he's going to be. Let's hope they think about Aintree down the line for him. Captain Orr back on some decent ground. Christian Williams will be really, really happy with that. He'll learn for the experience. I think Canelo running on for 4th as well. It looked like only a couple behind finished, actually. The Butcher said 1 for the team as well. And it might have been Mr. Malarkey running on for a remote 6th or 7th place, I think. So gruelling stuff. That ground still was pretty testing at Donny. We've got a bid farewell to Donny now, and we've got to go back for the last at Lingfield. My best bet of the day comes up in this race. Would you believe the 3:30 at
What is
Lingfield,
it?
now
You
the
keep
3:35?
you've not let
I've been teasing this one, haven't I?
I'm really annoyed, but you haven't told us what it is yet.
It is Mohareb
Okay.
for Mick Appleby and Alistair Rawlinson, a firm that you can do little wrong with. A reproduction of that latest form over course and distance will be enough to take this out. Barry Orr, what price is Mohareb? Catch your breath. Catch my breath. He's the favourite, isn't he?
Mohareb's not. No, Catch My Breath's favourite yet. 3.45 at the Heb is 4.7. 6.4 Mohareb. 7.2 Master Identity. Golden Force, big drifter in the market out to 9.2. Should get off in front. Golden Force. I'm going to lay in running here. I'm going to lay Mohareb. Sacrilege. I'm going against you here. He's on a long losing run. He's traded at a short of 2s on, 7-2, 10-1, 7-1, and 9-1. Counting back for his last 5 runs. I think he's worth opposing in running here. But again, Tom, we're going to get him. We'll look to get him short in running. I'm going to get him. Look to lay him at 3.0 in running, which is 2-1. I'm going to take 50 quid at the backer stake. Again, I'm going to select keep bet here because I want this. I have no chance of getting matched pre-race unless Mr. Orton really steams in. If he doesn't, our only chances get laid in running, and I think this horse could be a real monkey. And I think he might trade short, and we'll manage to snaffle our 50 quid for the charity out of him in running. So we're doing the keep bet function.
Unbelievable scenes. I guess the producers are over the moon because one of us is going to be right, Barry. So the show, one way or another, will get it right. Mohareb, an absolute monkey. That's an incredible statement. I'm almost offended. He's £1 higher than his last win. He's just a second run at the trip. He will do for me. Mick Appleby. Put your faith in Mick Appleby on the all-weather. Nothing wrong with that. I don't like the favourite at all.
No, I'll get a favourite here. She's very good, isn't she, Laura Pearson?
Very good.
Oh, yeah.
Very good.
Did you see the ride on Crime Wave yesterday?
Crime Wave was a brilliant ride. She just let everything fall in front of us,
Lingfield
brought
ride.
the horse out wide, didn't panic.
She
was very cool.
She is another female jockey that if she keeps on the current trajectory...
She's on that Holly Dawn trajectory, isn't she?
Telling
I know
you,
it's early days to say that.
Richard Fahey has got one there in his
Definitely.
yard. Yeah. She's very, very good.
But I don't think she'll be winning this. Despite I do like John Ryan as well as a trainer. This horse won well last time out. We saw the horse earlier on, didn't we? That couldn't quite manage to keep the winning run going. I think this is a better race than Catch My Breath has been winning.
Just hearing that I Right dropped the whip. We didn't really see that. Rob Lee, our producer, who backed it actually, is saying drop the whip. So he had to get that one in.
Callum Bewley, wasn't it?
He will be absolutely livid. No doubt Millwall are about 7 down now as well as around about 3:30 as well. So. Quick exit for us boys, I think, after this. But I Right, agonising, wasn't it? Did dropping the whip cost him? My goodness gracious me, the moral winner then, if you like. So you don't like Catch My Breath. Would that be a lay for you?
Yeah, I'll take him on. I like a Thebe a bit. This ex-stout horse. Ross Ryan, another jockey to follow.
He's having a good run, isn't he?
Not in the Probert League yet, but he's going to have a good season, Ross
For
Ryan.
George Bowie.
Yeah.
Love saying
Bowie,
that
is
name.
it?
Do you love... Is it Bowie?
Is it Bowie?
Is it Bowie?
George Bowie.
Bowie.
It's Bowie.
Bowie.
George, I call him Bowie. He's not been training long, so we can get it.
Bowie.
That, but,
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Bowie.
Yeah.
Well done, Tom Connors. You thought he'd got that right.
I think there was actually a piece in the Racing Post with him, and that's how he suggested it should be
Yeah,
pronounced.
he did say.
Well, you would do, wouldn't you? You would. You're not going to say Bowie, you would. I'm the best musical artist of all time. That's how you pronounce my name.
I'm with his horse here, a Thebe. I think he needed the run last 2 weeks ago. He's won here before. His old stout form, I think he'd have every chance here. But this is a tough little race.
The other female jockey in the race, TC, you're on.
Yeah, Josephine Gordon, she rides Master Identity. Now, if this was an 8-runner race, Master Identity would be an each way bet to nothing. I would be pretty confident he'd hit the frame. He's a deep closer. He comes from off the speed. He'll be flying late. It's just whether he's going to get there. Hopefully he gets the wide trip that we've seen to great effect at Lingfield. Pirate King earlier on. The step up and trip to a mile is a big plus. It's just with a small field, I'm a bit worried they're not going to go quick enough for him. But
was an eye catcher last time.
Yeah.
I sort of hovered over him as I was trying to knock him out with my Mohareb play. And it's the lack of Lingfield for him. You just don't really know with him, do you? Joe Gordon on note for Sean Keatley. That's a winning combination often. than not. I thought Lethal Lunch you could get rid of. Tadleal I thought was interesting at a price actually for Richard Fahey on his very, very best form. It was too bad to be true last week. Golden Force was ahead of Master Identity 2 back.
More of a Wolverhampton horse, is he? Golden Force?
Think so, yeah. So you've gone for the course and distance form. You've gone for the second favourite.
Thebe, yeah. He was bigger than that this morning, wasn't he? Been back today.
Yeah, he has. Is he the real slider in the market for the last race, Barry? Thebe.
There's been plenty of money for him, as Tony rightly points out. He was a high in 9.4. He's been matched at, so he's over half in price. He's just now currently trading just under 7-2, 11-4. Catch My Breath, 5-1 Muharrab now. So money for him as well.
Okay, thank you, Barry. Muharrab indeed. So I'm with Muharrab. Barry's against it. We're about to find out who's right. Fingers crossed. It's going to be the Orton. Let's go to Tony Ennis for the call.
Here we go then. This is the last race of the day on a Racing Post Live. They're going a mile. The Bombardier handicap. They're off. Slow to go. There was Tadleal, Mr. Kick, and Catch My Breath, Mr. Kick as well, the favourite.
Gone.
Out the back early on. Early speed. Thebe is up there. Masked Identity is up there. And also up there towards the outside. Mohareb is now just going to drop in behind for Ali Rawlinson.
Perfect spot.
As they race for the first furlong, Lethal Lunch is just off them in behind.
No surprise they're going just a slow gallop, if you can see there by the sectional, because Masked Identity is a closer and he's got the lead.
He's in the front. He's pulling for his life, isn't he?
Masked Identity leading up then. Golden Force is going to drop back into about 4th place at this stage.
That'll help the Fav when having missed it, I think.
Yeah, at the moment, though, it is still Masked Identity who leads up to Golden Force, who's racing a little bit wider in 2nd place. In behind them is Mohareb, who's just 1 out, 1 back. On the outside of Thebe, who's against the rails, Ross O'Ryan.
You're going to get pocketed.
Yep, I'm in that bad position. That's where you don't want to be. On the inside, Lethal Lunch is back in 5th place. Then comes Tadleal, the back marker. Can Laura Pearson do a last to first extravaganza? She rides the favourite, Catch My Breath. The grey at the back of the pack. 3 furlongs to go. This is when the pace begins to increase. Up front, Masked Identity leading. Mohareb appears to be going well. Mohareb is.
Come on, Mohareb.
We're matched on Mohareb.
I'm telling you, this is all over. Come on, my friend.
Come on, Mohareb for Dave.
Come on, Rawlinson. Now press the button. Turbo it.
Is next. Then Lethal Lunch. Catch My Breath.
Here he comes.
Mohareb looking
Come on
good
then, Mohareb. Lethal Lunch, look at him. Don't find.
Go on, Mohareb then. He's come to the front on the outside. What's
Go
he
on,
going to
Mohareb.
find?
He produces.
Does he produce,
Yes,
Mohareb?
he does.
Does he produce?
Come on,
Lethal
Rawlinson.
Lunch is
No,
coming.
Lethal Lunch, I don't
He's going
believe
to fall in
it.
the hole. Catch
Come
My
on,
Breath is
Mohareb.
coming. Lethal Lunch, Adam
Oh,
Kirby.
he's going to be last.
He's going to finish last, Mohareb. Lethal Lunch, Tadleal coming late. Oh, Lethal Lunch beat Tadleal and Catch My Breath 3rd. What a race.
Oh, Barry,
He's finished last.
I can't finish last.
What I tell you, the
Barry's
stats
got that
don't
spot
lie.
Unbelievable.
Stats don't lie.
He's an in-running trader then,
finds
Barry. I'll tell you
nothing.
what. That has been borne out. My hat is doffed. My cap is doffed to you, Barry. That's unbelievable. Here, at furlong out, I'm thinking, I know Lethal Lunch doesn't find. This is aye.
Traded a low of 1.65, so 6-4 on he traded in running. We got matched in 2 in running, but he mustn't be greedy. We win another 50 quid for the charity.
I'll tell you what, well done, Barry. It's a funny game, isn't it? On his debut, this Lethal Lunch for Michael Bell.
Out, almost.
He was dreadful in that
The two that missed the
framework.
kick, Tadleal and Catch My Breath, were beaten, head in their head?
Yeah, there was only half a length between the first 5 home.
You have to say the Fav's a little bit unlucky there, don't you?
I'm annoyed. I couldn't vent my frustration, but Ross O'Ryan, why is he on the inside rail?
Yeah,
Thebe?
He's actually run rather well, hasn't he? He's only
half a
beaten.
length.
It was a blanket finish.
5 of them. Look at that. Golden Force in the mix as
I
well.
can't believe Mohareb's finished last. That's unbelievable. I've pretty much summed up my afternoon, actually, as it goes. Unbelievable scenes. Fair play to Barry Orr. He got it right. Fair play if you gave Lethal Lunch somehow another chance. I know that loads of you would be on Adam Kirby. Is there a better all-weather rider
brilliant
in
Lingfield.
history than Adam Kirby?
Oh, that's a strong claim, but he's very good, isn't he?
Name one.
Probert?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Friend, of course. David Friend Probert.
Top, definitely.
It's been an enjoyable afternoon,
It's
isn't
been
it?
good fun. Some great racing. We've got Pirate King right, but not that much else right today.
No, we didn't. Just to say, our friends at myracing.com are celebrating out there as well. They put up an each way double on their site of, let me see if I can get it. They had Taking Risks and they had the Cob as well.
Wow.
Taking Risk
same as
and the
Thomas
Cob. What did
Irish
that pay?
It was something ridiculous. I can't remember what it is, but I'm getting loads in about trebles and doubles that a big price that have been landed. So happy days if you're out there. January is ending with a bang, as it should be. Fantastic scenes. Wow. Okay.
25.
So Barry, I'm going to get you the details for the Burrow 7. We're going to be handing over some profit to them. It's been a really enjoyable month, hasn't it? Despite the current pandemic, we've been lifting the spirits with that.
Yeah, we certainly have. It's been great. for the charity. Obviously, we've won over £1,000, and that's what it's all about, really. We're only here to show a bit of functionality around the exchange and have a bit of fun. And I enjoy every Saturday. I feel like I've only been sitting here for 5 minutes, and that's always a good sign when the day flies like that. Well done, Tony. It's always good to have him in when he calls the races. Bit of professionalism there, not depending on you, Dave, or Ross Briley.
Thank you, Barry.
And 10-point Tom never fails to entertain either.
There we are. Thank you, Barry. Oh, fantastic. We'll see you next Saturday for the Dublin Festival, Barry. Who's the one horse you're really looking forward to next week at Dublin? Would it be Manella Indo, or are we looking elsewhere?
Yeah, I'm a big Manella Indo fan, and I'd really like to see him, grab hold of that Paddy Power Gold Cup and mark himself as a real Cheltenham contender, as a real Gold Cup contender. So, yeah, fingers crossed for him. But there's a whole host of novices that we're going to see up there that we're looking forward to that will be mapping a route towards Cheltenham in March. And, obviously I'd like to see Appreciated maybe in the good novice hurl up there. And then in the Irish champion hurl as well, San Roy, can he come back to a bit of form or and potentially, another one for JP McManus in the champion hurl. But there's so much to look forward to. You just make sure you get that Irish form book open and you do plenty of study between now and Saturday.
Don't you worry about me, old boy. Don't you worry about me. I'm absolutely all over it. You're back next weekend. You're on the Sunday.
On the Sunday show, yeah.
Yeah, we've got Charlie Post doing a double header. Okay.
Yeah, Post
You're probably doing about 20 meetings in between this, are you? Your famous Enzo double.
I've got Lingfield next Saturday, which is a good day actually, because I've got a couple of good races there. They've got the Catchy Stakes and the Winter Derby Trial.
Ah, okay. We're warming up, aren't we, towards Good Friday?
It's getting better now, isn't it? All weather
Love
racing.
it. Absolutely fantastic. TC, thanks for coming back in.
Yeah, no problem. It's been good fun.
We know how to end the show with your. What have you got stateside for us this evening?
Yeah, so we've got 3.
Take a note.
We've been in good form recently. In January, in fact, I think we're 9 for 15 in January, apart from 3 selections last Saturday, which were losers. But mainly 9 for 15. I don't tend to go for Saturday action.
Can't
normally.
keep a good man down, TC. Let's have him.
Right. First at Santa Anita tonight, 8:30, race 1, Our Miss Millie, drawn a gate 1, which is a negative, but gets Mike Smith aboard and has really impressed in 2 runs so far. Caught the eye after a ridiculously slow break on debut, finished 5th that day. Races against the horse that finished 2nd, called Ensley Dream, who's favourite tonight, Our Miss Millie's 2nd favourite. Last time out was a big improvement. She'll beat Ensley Dream tonight. That's one Our Miss Millie in the
Mike Smith, good luck
first.
with that project.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Mike Smith, but he doesn't ride in maidens for no reason.
This is what you get on this show. When the cameras go off on Sky, this is what they do. They come back on and they're nice as pie to each other.
Right, we're on to the nap, which is Wara in race 3 at Gulfstream. He's also drawn on the inside in gate 1, but gets IRAD this time. You prefer IRAD to Mike Smith. That's the 5:41 at Gulfstream, Wara. He has been blowing a hole in the wind in his works at Palm Meadows. He's been doing 5 furlong breezes in 58 seconds, 59 seconds, absolutely rapid. Didn't like the all-weather surface at Woodbine on debut in August last year. Gets the switch to turf. Mark Cassie, the trainer's 24% dirt to turf switches. So War is the nap, race 3 at Gulfstream. And the last one is a banker for short price punters who want a horse to play up their winnings, which is Zargel in race 9 at Gulfstream. Was a bit of evens this morning, an 11 to 10, which was when I tweeted. Now into 5 to 6. Todd Pletcher, Louis Size, race 9 at Gulfstream, the 8 to 46. 7-length victory on debut. Very impressive. She could be special. She should win.
Happy days. There's some really good racing tonight in the States. You're going to be able to watch that, of course, out there. So if you think the racing stops here, it doesn't. TC keeping you going throughout the night. Cheers, TC. We'll see you back in a couple of weeks. We'll see you back next Saturday. Sandown, Cotswold Chase in the Cleve. Could they be on with the Dublin Festival? Till then,